everybody, and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews podcast number 20. Is it number 21?
21, bro.
Oh, I've got Gary's notes here, and it says welcome to Pen 21, but it says podcast 20 notes at the top, but Gary's making mistakes already. I am your host, Iain Buckingham. I am joined by my good buddy, Andy.
Hey, guys.
And Gary.
He's missing again.
I already know what's going to happen. At the point of us recording at the moment, Gary is currently at work, but he has promised that he will make it back for the second part of the podcast, and then he will be here for the questions and answers. So anything could happen in the next 3 hours.
He's going to burst in midway through and interrupt us again.
Yeah, we're going to be in the free flow of keeping everybody entertained, and then he'll come in and just
all over
fucking ruin it. So I'm just going to do something
technical
quickly, because I totally forgot to move the microphone, so like that sounds all completely screwed up. But anyway, welcome to podcast number 21. Obviously, we're going to do our catch up and news and trailer news and all that kind of stuff in the first part.
Cool.
The second part is on about our discussion, which for this podcast will be on Robin Williams.
Yeah, I'm going to cry.
Yeah. I was very surprised when Gary said like we should do a podcast theme on Robin Williams, and I was like, okay,
yeah, man.
You know, that's like a touchy subject. That's like a emotional kind of thing to really talk about.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get there obviously in the second part, but like suffice to say, all three of us are fans. I mean, I've never met anyone who's not like I don't like Robin Williams movies.
I know one.
That would be like, you're a fucking replicant, sir.
Well, that's it. I know one guy who says he doesn't like Robin Williams, but he says he doesn't like Robin Williams because he feels Robin Williams being typecast, and I'm like, yeah, but so you've never seen any serious roles by Robin Williams?
Man,
and he's like, no, and I'm like, he's done a lot. So we will be talking about all of our favourite films, the top 5, I think, from all three of us.
We've tried to whittle it down to a top 5, yeah.
Yes, and then obviously we've got our question and answers filled. Thank you all very much for all your support, Shelfers, for obviously keeping us going and telling us to keep hard at the work. Obviously, if you've been following our Facebook, or my Facebook post, on the Facebook page, you would have seen that we have been getting our fucking ass handed to us recently.
Hollywood whooped your ass,
man. Yeah, at least 30 to 35 of our videos got taken down. Primarily Universal films. Universal can be absolute fucking assholes to us, you know, between our Jurassic Park, between our Jaws reviews and things like that. Anything with Universal on, we just seem to be flagged. And I think YouTube have really cut down how long footage you can have in your videos. So we are trying to get to this new number that YouTube say is fine for us, but they keep moving the goalposts.
You gotta remember as well, YouTube are now like hard launching this like paid service as well,
yes.
Aren't they? Like so that's going to massively affect people like yourselves that are not sponsored, that are using the continually free version of YouTube.
Yes.
At the end of the day, there's got to be a lot more there's got to be a lot of bonus for people to use content on the paid version.
Yeah.
And if it's, you get to use more footage from certain things, that's a bonus. So you can, it's probably going to happen. It's going to be some interesting times ahead, I think, for you guys.
Editing. I've been really good with the editing recently. 10-second clips is the most we can use, but over the 8 odd years that I've been editing, I've learned to, I like to call it chop suey. I will chop the film up so that it gets past the bots and it keeps the audience enthralled about, if they haven't seen the film, they're like, oh, what's that scene? I really need to know about that. Other people who might have seen the film might look at the scenes and go, hang on a minute, that sequence doesn't matter up to that sequence, but I've got to get past the bots somehow, and you don't want to see my ugly mug for a fucking hour-long review, do you? No, didn't think so. But anyway, so obviously onto the news section of the podcast. But before I get up to the news, I want to do the catch-up. I've just recently been on holiday. I went to a little town called Hale in Cornwall for a little caravanning holiday with my wife and my son, and I almost didn't come back.
Why?
Because the beach was so fucking awesome.
You've never been a beach guy. All the times I've known you've never been a beach person.
I'm not a beach person per se. You know, I hate the heat. If it gets too hot, all I want to do is hide indoors. But
Daywalker.
yeah, daywalker. Spending the day with the family was absolutely awesome. We went out on day trips. We played around in the pool. You know, it was all about tiring Dylan out and spending time with our son. So, you know, because we don't really get to do it as much during the year because of work. Evening times, though, I said to Linda what I wanted to do was I wanted to at least go down and chill on the beach on my own, you know, at the end of the night. And she's like, yeah, no, that's fine. She can kick back in the caravan and chill out. So I'd go down onto this little beach. The very first night I was there, they were selling San Miguel on tap at the caravan holiday. And if you know me, I fucking love San Miguel. If it's on tap, I'm like a crack addict to it. So I'd had quite a few San Miguels and I stumbled down to the beach and it was dark. Right? It was dark. I get down there, the tide is coming in, and for miles there was nobody except me. Just me, right? And all I could hear was the waves. I couldn't hear anything else. And when I was sat there, I was just like, you know, I am happy. I'm not just
amazing what a little bit of solitude does for you as well.
I am content, but not just that. I took a thought of how I'd gotten to that point. How I'd gotten to be sat on that beach 9 o'clock at night with nobody else around me, you know, between all the hard work throughout the year, between the family stuff that you have to do, paying your bills and all that kind of stuff. And I realized, you know what, life is fucking hard, but I'd gotten to that point, so I must have done something really fucking good in the hard stuff to get to that point, to be able to sit down and go, I can now relax.
Yeah, but that's what holiday's all about at the end of the day, man. You work, like, I mean, you know, a lot of people, you might work all year to afford that one family holiday for 2 weeks. There's 52 weeks in a year and you're on your feet for 50 of them, basically.
Yes, yeah, basically.
You know, and, you know, you spend all that time, you save up your money, you know, we're all working class stiffs, as people call it, you know what I mean? None of us are sort of like, you know, rolling in cash or anything. So when we go on holiday, it is normally I've been waiting months for this, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I totally get it, dude. It's like, you know, you have that thing where you do the dad thing, you do the husband thing, and now and again you get those moments of solitude where you just get to kick back and you go like, you know, yeah, all right, I feel like I've achieved something and I'm drinking it in right now.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I think as you get a bit older as well, whereas you're like, I mean, you know, when you're in your 20s, even if you've got a family, you might have those moments where you get some time to yourself and you're instantly like, I want to go down the club and I want to get messed up and do this.
Yeah.
Now I'm more like, you know, oh my God, I can't wait for the kids to be in bed. Maybe Donna's in bed and I'm going to sit out in my garden on my deck in my chair.
Yeah.
And just with a beer. And life's good.
See,
you know,
that was
totally
exactly it. I was sat on this beach.
Did you fucking call me that night?
I did call you that night.
That's how I know San Miguel was on tap, because you fucking called me. I couldn't answer.
You
and then you sent me a
Gary.
really sweet text. And I was like, how drunk is this motherfucker?
I called you and Gary. The thing was, I knew Gary was in work, so it went to answer machine. And I left him this message saying, "Hey man, I'm sat on this beach. I've had a couple of San Miguels. I just want to tell you that I love you, man." And I put the phone down. About half an hour later, I got back to the caravan. Linda's shuffled me off the bed because I needed to go to sleep, you know. And he rings me, and he's in work. And I pick up my phone. And I'm like, "Hello," and Gary's like, "You called me. What's up?" I'm like, "I left you a message. I'll speak to you later." And I put the phone back down. But while I was sat on that beach, I thought to myself, you know, like you said, people spend half their year trying to save up for this really, really good holiday. People are constantly always telling me, "Ian, you've got to go around the world. You got to see this. You got to see Egypt. You got to see that. You got to enjoy the world where it is." When I was sat on this beach, I was looking out to the ocean, right? And my mind was like, wow, to think the sun's going down. I'm looking around. A lot of people here are going to sleep, getting their kids in the bed, and yet across the horizon, the rest of the world is waking up and getting ready for their day.
Yeah.
And you know, I came up with a word for it, right? Content sentience. Content sentience. It's basically where you can feel everything around you is working. The rest of the world is going around and you're emotional about it. But you are happy with your position. I feel I don't need to strive for anything more than what I have. And I don't need anything more than what I've got, even though it might seem minuscule to everyone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's all about what's important, isn't it, man? It's like, you know, some people have that kind of, you know, I don't know, I've got to have like the massive house, I've got to have the brand new car, I've got to have this, which is fine. I mean, if that's your thing, that's totally awesome.
Yeah, totally. I'm not dissing that.
Yeah, I'd never diss anyone for fucking success, you know, and everything like that. But yeah, it's like, it's amazing how you can just sort of like, you know, I always say, like, you know, I do say to my wife when I'm feeling soppy or I've got 9 beers in me, like, you know, it's like sometimes even, like, I mean, we've got a nice house, don't get me wrong, we've got a nice car and everything like that, I've got a good job, but I'm kind of like, I feel like the richest man in the world, really. I'm happy. All I really wanted to do was sort of like, didn't have a huge amount of ambition. Yeah. I was like, I just want to, you know, meet someone, marry him, have a kid, and get a house, and
this is it.
That's just all good, really.
This is what I mean. I was sat there, and so many people were always telling me to strive for more. Don't I want more? Don't. And I was sat there, and I was thinking to myself,
I think it's like I try and get more in the way of sort of, I'm always like on the lookout for new job opportunities to like make more money to give a better,
upbringing, life for your family.
You know, life for my family. But I'm also sort of like, but it's not because I'm miserable. It's just because you just have that drive in you, isn't it?
Yeah, I realise I don't have that drive.
That's fair.
But they had a wrestling show at the Haven Caravan Park that we were staying at.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to go and see it because I love going to see wrestling whenever I get the chance, and it was free to go and see it. And Dylan wanted to come with me. So it was the first time Dylan had ever seen a live wrestling show. Now, not a lot of you might know this, but you have a wrestling ring is like 6 foot, 8 foot, including to the top of the ring post from the ground floor.
Oh, from the ground to the top of the ropes? Yeah, it's probably about 8 foot.
Right. They had about another 2 foot, and then they hit the ceiling.
Not a lot of top rope elbow drops.
No, there was little to no climbing the corners, and I was kind of
like,
cheering
every match
for this.
is a cell match. Yay!
You know, I'm looking around. There were other parents there with the kids, and the kids are all getting around, and the parents are just having drinks. But I'm thinking to myself, do any of you guys realise what that does to a wrestler's repertoire of moves if they can't go to the top rope?
Some, yeah.
It literally just makes them have to work inside the ring. So they had 2 matches in the 45
Kevin
minutes.
Nash would be like, this is not a problem.
Yeah. Kevin Nash would have to duck down to be in there.
Maybe it would.
It was like a 45-minute stint in there. You had a championship match and you had a tag match, and then it was all over. But I got Dylan to go there.
Do you know what promotion it was?
It was. I had the name before I came here. I can't remember what it was. It was like Beat Sandy's Showdown Summertime, something like that. It was just some kind of promotion, local promotion. But I got Dylan a foam finger with the Haven Caravan thing on. I've never had a foam finger.
Dude, I think when we were kids, we all coveted foam fingers.
Oh, I always wanted an Austin one, middle finger one. I think that was
a very, being growing up in the UK, that was a very American thing, I think, to us.
Yeah.
Like, when we'd watch American wrestling, it'd be like, why? You have that first question of, like, why the fuck do you want a giant foam finger? And then you realise really quickly, like, I don't want my life to not include a giant foam finger.
I need a giant foam finger. Yeah, so I got Dylan a giant foam finger. We got pictures with a couple of the wrestlers.
The Austin one was the middle finger, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Even better.
It's because Stone Cold said so. And black and white really, really wanted one. So, my holiday was awesome. I'm going back to work soon. By the time this podcast goes up, I will be back to work. So expect me to be a little less positive over the next upcoming podcast.
Basically, the intro to the next podcast won't be so deep and meaningful.
No.
Like, what you been up to? Nothing.
Man, I got to talk about I got a couple of things also to talk about before I get into the news.
Well, you've been watching recently.
I saw recently The Greasy Strangler. Now, some of you are probably like, oh my god, I've seen it, and some of you are like, what the fuck are you talking about, Ian?
That is the only reaction to it, I believe. It's like, what the fuck is that?
What the fuck is
oh my
this
god,
movie?
I can't believe I found another human being that's seen that movie.
It's a movie about a father and son who live together, Big Ronnie and Big Braden. And Big Ronnie likes to strip down naked at night, cover himself in grease, and go around and strangle people.
Yeah, they don't. That's not a spoiler. They don't bury the lead.
No, they don't. It's not like it hides. The deaths are funny as fuck. Like, he punched a guy in the jaw and set his face in, and there's a lot of sex in this movie as well.
Wow.
There's a lot of sex
the
scenes.
The sex you're getting, you don't want. Like,
you don't want. I saw a lot of Big Ronnie's cock. A lot, and
pretty much all of it, including the back.
Well, it was weird because at the end it was all red at the end. I couldn't tell if he was suffering from some kind of like disease or
friction burn.
Yeah. He had a disco suit that he liked to go disco dancing, which was just open at the front, so his cock was just flapping out while he's dancing. There was this one scene. Oh my god, I've just remembered.
Does he think he's Randy Orton meeting a new writer?
Yes. Shake my hand. I'm Randy Orton. there was this scene where he just started dancing down the street, and all the lighting on the street just cut out, and there was just a spotlight on him. And he danced all the way down the street until the spotlight just cut off, the lights on the street came back, and he just carried on walking normally.
It's a fucking psychedelic romp.
I don't know if...
So strange.
Tell me, if you've seen The Greasy Strangler, I want you to answer this question for me. Should I start, grading movies against The Greasy Strangler? Because I'm not entirely sure if it was good or not. I don't know if it was the most shittest movie I've ever seen, because I've seen a lot of shit movies. It wasn't as bad as Tekken. That's the point.
It's gonna be like
it wasn't as bad as
Tekken. Like fucking Rick and Morty, where it's like that's five grapples that I'm.
The dad reminded me of a live action
Rick.
Yeah. Just the way he acted, it was fucked up.
A buddy of mine in work turned me onto it, and he was like, dude, you gotta watch this fucking movie. And I was like, I watched it, flicked through it and stuff, because I couldn't watch it all. I was just like flicking through it on Showbox, and I was watching it on my phone literally, and Donna was like, what are you watching? I explained it, and I was like, she's like, why would you watch that? I was like, Toby in work told me to. And I was like, you know what, remind me tomorrow when I go in and punch Toby in the back of the fucking head.
Man, I don't know, if you, me, a pack of beers and some shit and sit back, watch The Greasy Strangler, we will die with laughter by the hour.
Not enough shit in the world.
It was crazy. Doom Eternal. They dropped the trailer for
wait. Right. What else have you seen recently?
Oh, yes. Well, I was going to get to that. I just wanted to talk about something else. But
okay, sorry.
Ant-Man and Wasp first, yes. Sticking with films, I saw Ant-Man and Wasp, and I very much enjoyed it.
I still haven't had a chance to watch it.
It is... Marvel are just fucking knocking them out of the park, mate.
Yeah, dude.
I know there's a lot of people
their
out
business.
there. There's a lot of people who probably don't like Marvel, for whatever reasons. Same kind of stuff with Star Wars and Star Trek, milking a franchise or whatever. But what I really liked about it is that you don't have to see the other Marvel movies to get Ant-Man and Wasp. You need to see Ant-Man because it flows right into that.
Obviously, yeah.
But it's like its own standalone. It's kind of like the same feeling I had when I saw Black Panther. Like I could buy it.
Yeah, that's a good example.
I could just buy that film on its own, not have to worry about it, put it on and not have to worry about any massive, huge, big story things. There's a couple of little branches in there where you go, oh yeah, I remember seeing that film if you've seen it, or oh, I wonder which one that's from. The ending after the credits obviously leads it open for the other next load of Marvel movies,
like they will,
like Infinity War 2 when that comes out. But yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer, god damn, she has made silver hair. She's just made silver hair.
She's still hot, dude.
And I was very surprised because Lawrence Fishburne's in it. And I was just like, oh, fuck, Lawrence Fishburne, he's milking Marvel and DC because he was Perry White.
Oh, good shit, yeah.
He was Perry White in Man of
Walking
Steel.
Between the worlds. Who's he playing Ant-Man then? I've not seen it yet.
He plays Ben Foster, who is an ex-SHIELD agent who used to work with Hank Pym. So you get this really cool little thing where him and Michael Douglas are going against each other.
Oh, is there a scene where they de-age him?
Yes, they do de-age Lawrence Fishburne.
Is it like Boys in the Hood or Apocalypse Now? How young do they go?
Boys in the Hood.
Oh,
they go Boys in the Hood. He doesn't have his red eye as he does in
Tell me he's like driving along with like Hank Pym and he's like, ooh, child.
No. It's just a little bit where he steps in to speak to Ava, who is the girl who plays Ghost. Love the Ghost character. The Ghost character was really, really well done. But I realised after when I came out, I was just like, yeah, Lawrence Fishburne, he's milking both Marvel and DC. And then I was like, fuck me, Michelle Pfeiffer. She was Catwoman.
Yep.
And now she's gone in, and now she's doing Marvel as well. And I'm like, wow, we really need to get more of that. I'd love to see Jack Nicholson pop up in a Marvel film just briefly and be like, oh my god, look who it is.
It's the Joker.
But I mean, that's all I've really seen recently. I've been watching still all my Raws. At the moment, I've just finished the Montreal Screwjob. So Brett has left to go to WCW.
Oh, so did you watch the Monday Night Raw after? Where Shawn Michaels brings out the midget.
Yeah, well, that was
when they're doing the play fight. He's like, Brett's coming up a little short.
That was 2 weeks. That was 2 weeks after, because the very next night you had the interview with Vince McMahon.
Oh, of course, yes. It wasn't the night after, was it? It was the Brett Screwed Brett special.
Yeah, it's the Brett Screwed Brett. But that was the thing. I'm watching this interview, and knowing all the history years later, I'm thinking. When you watched it back in the day, it probably looked fake. You were just like, yeah, they're just scripting, they're just talking. It's not mean anything. Knowing the history and what happened, seeing Vince there with his black eye, the way that he's talking, and he is saying, I will take Brett back in a heartbeat. But but he would have to abide by certain rules because he had one view of what he was going to do and it didn't go with the future which I wanted. And I'm like, wow, you know, it's going to now open up. Without Bret Hart leaving for WCW, would Austin got as big of a push? Would Triple H have gotten a big of a push? Would The Rock got what he got?
Yeah. I think they would have, because I think that was part of the reason why Bret went, because obviously Bret had the issue that they were going in a different way away from him, and no one, like, don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of Bret Hart, but no one's a bigger Bret Hart fan than Bret Hart.
Oh yes,
so, you know.
Yes, and he is really good. But then it kind of pained me because I know that obviously he's going to go to WCW.
He's not going to ruin him.
He's not going to be utilised very well.
Goldberg's going to kick him in the fucking head.
Goldberg's going to kick him in the head.
Give him a stroke.
You know, and it's going to come back. But then I'm looking at Michaels, and Michaels is burning out. You can fucking fully see it. You know, he is red faced. Great athlete, can go toe to toe with anybody on there.
Hands down.
But you can just see in his face sometimes when he comes out, and you know that they gave him every chance. Here's a microphone. Do whatever you want.
He self-confessed he was a dick at the time.
Yes,
he was a pain in the fucking ass. But yeah, man, you can't fault the work rate.
It was good.
Yeah.
Been watching anything recently?
It's a shame Gary's not here for this.
Why? Another Adam Sandler movie.
It is an Adam Sandler movie.
I knew it was Adam Sandler movie.
We had a family day out, and we went to see Hotel Transylvania 3.
Yes, I saw that as well.
Okay, so I'll be honest. Like, I mean, I gotta admit, the first two, they're a guilty pleasure. I think there's some great gags in those first two, and
the first one.
I like. Well, yeah, certainly the first one's better, but I like animated movies, especially when they throw in jokes that the kids just won't go over there.
Yes, totally, yeah.
Hotel Transylvania 3 was a fucking nightmare of a film to get through. It was come on, man, that was a fucking dreadful movie.
I did not
so
enjoy it.
Gary's not here for me to say like, yeah, okay, that fucking Adam Sandler movie sucks.
I only like the first Hotel Transylvania. You know, whenever they milk an animation past the original one, I just know it's all going to go downhill. So we had a couple of grandkids down. They wanted to go to the cinema. Yes, I'm a granddad before you start thinking I got my words wrong then. And the girls, they wanted to see Hotel Transylvania 3. Yeah. It was a toss-up between that and Incredibles 2. And
you'd already seen Incredibles 2?
No,
then you should have fucking seen Incredibles 2.
Yeah, I know, but Ava is the youngest. She's only 3, and to try and keep her entertained in a movie like that, might have worked, but Hotel Transylvania 3 worked. We went there, and I'm sat there, and I'm just like, man, this is fucking
literally
bullshit.
Unwatchable, right?
Why am I watching this? This is just a kid's film. This is so bad.
I don't know. I kept turning to my kid, like Jessica, and I was like, "You enjoying this?" And she's like, "Yeah." Even though I was like, "Fucking really, kid?"
I did the same. I looked down at Dylan, Miley, and Ava, and all three of them were just entranced by the TV. I mean, Dylan, after a while, he always gets fidgety. I mean, he's having to sit there for longer than 10 minutes. But they were still watching it, and they were still singing the songs after when we got out, you know. So I was just like, yeah, you know, this is it. If you're going to see a kid's film, you've either got to A, numb yourself off and just go for the kid, or B, resort back to being a kid and start throwing popcorn and shit all over the place, because
it's not a bad idea.
You know.
Plus Gary's got to clean it up.
Yeah, Gary's got to clean it up, which is really good. When we did see Hotel Transylvania 3, I knew he was working in the afternoon, so we would be coming out just as he was starting.
Did you run up to the counter and say, "I need to speak to Gary because it's about his computer"?
No, Linda won't let me do that. But Dylan had a massive box of popcorn on his lap, and he moved, and it slipped all into his chair. And I'm trying to pick it up in the dark of the cinema. I'm trying to put it back into the box, and then just like, leave it alone. And she just starts brushing it all onto the floor. And I looked at her and went, "Yeah, but Gary's working." And she looked at me and went to stop, and then she's just like, carried on pushing it, and I was just like, yeah, all right, yeah, why are we worried about it? So we just pushed out some massive huge pile of popcorn by our feet.
Man, I really hope that when Gary joins us and we're like, "Hey man, what's been going on?" I was like, "Yeah, not too bad. I fucking work the other day, this massive thing of popcorn, some jerk off left in Hotel Transylvania 3. Anyway, what you guys been doing?" And you're like, "Nothing."
None. Just none. So
I'll tell you what I've watched recently, which is phenomenal. Well, first of all, I am now understand that I am a fan of Orange is the New Black.
Oh man, I've always been a fan of that, even though I never watched their single episode.
I was watching it sort of intermittently with the wife. I'd be painting some models downstairs and she'd be watching it, and I found myself just getting more and more entranced. So now we're watching season 6 of that.
Nice.
So
season 6
yeah,
already?
Man, it's fucking great.
Hell.
It's so good. The performances are amazing.
Did you ever watch Prisoner Cell Block H?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, back in the day. And I think that's why. I don't know why I didn't think to watch, because I enjoyed Prisoner, but yeah, I watched that. But the thing that I have watched recently, I've watched the first 6 episodes that have dropped. Castle Rock.
Castle Rock.
Mate,
is it good?
It's really good. I don't want to spoil anything. If you've seen the trailer, you know, it's set in Stephen King's world.
Yeah.
Shawshank features highly, you know, prominently in it. Bill Skarsgård is just entrancing.
He's the guy in the prison, isn't he?
Yes.
Right.
And that is what I won't say anything because it's a very. It reminds me of it's in the same vein as Stranger Things, as dark, in that kind of a lot of things that get every time you answer a question, a bigger question gets arisen, and it's all going to obviously resolve itself. I hope by the end. But yeah, it's I highly recommend it. Hulu dropped the first 5 episodes, and then last week they dropped another one. I mean, by the time this podcast come out, I'm sure it'll probably be all dropped.
All of season 1 will probably be gone.
But yeah, man, I'm really enjoying that. Every time that pops up on, like, so I can download it and watch it, I'm like, oh, straight away I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah,
you know? I highly recommend it. Totally. You know, I mean, we watched that in the trailers, didn't we, and everything recently.
Yeah. We saw the Castle Rock, and I mean, I was interested in watching it, but my TV scheduling is not like anybody else's. I mean, I still haven't watched Stranger Things or Breaking Bad, you know, or Game of Thrones, you know, and everyone's screaming at the TV right now, like, yeah, what the fuck? And I'm like, wrestling and editing.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, think about it. We're this week, as we're recording, tonight is NXT Takeover Brooklyn.
Yes,
and
Takeover Brooklyn.
Is SummerSlam.
So
I've been watching, I've been catching up with some of the storylines on SmackDown because I don't always get a chance to watch it week to week. I tell you what's been killing me, man, is, you know, on SmackDown, the general manager is Paige.
Yes.
She's a female wrestler from England, and she's got the deepest fucking voice, like this really husky voice.
Yeah.
And I was laughing my ass off because, like, there was this promo where they kept running where she was showing a clip from this upcoming movie starring The Rock, and it's about her breaking into the business.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's Fighting With My Family.
Fighting With My
yeah,
Family.
yeah.
Thank you. So she keeps coming up, and the start of the promo is her just looking into the camera.
Hi guys.
Right, and that's what she's like. She says hi, Paige here, but she's got such a husky voice, like, hi, Paige here. And I'm laughing, and I was like, what's the plan? I was like, she sounds like fucking Dr. Nefario from Despicable Me. So she's like, I'm waiting for her, like, Gru, I can't do it anymore. I've got to take the minions away. Like, she's this fucking voice that she has just kills me, and now I can't take anything seriously because every time she opens her mouth, I start laughing my ass off.
I try to take her seriously, but she wears such low cut tops and bright red lipstick that I'm like, it's literally between her lips and the top of her top of her top.
I know she's got her eyes closed.
That's it. But I mean, they just set up Daniel Bryan versus The Miz for SummerSlam.
Before we move into the actual news and the actual topic.
Yeah.
Any predictions for SummerSlam?
Main
matches, without going through the whole card, because it's apparently a fucking 7-hour show.
Right, okay, so, I mean, you got, the Bludgeon Brothers versus the New Day for the tag titles. I think the New Day is going to take that, unless they split the New Day, which...
I don't think they will.
Yeah, but I mean, it's...
Too much money.
Yeah, it's going for that, but... I think the New Day will take it.
What do you think about Lesnar and Reigns?
Reigns is going to take it, but I'm hoping either Strowman cashes in.
I don't think he's walking out with that title over the night.
It's either Strowman cashes in, or, because Strowman's facing Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens with the Money in the Bank briefcase on the line.
Right. I think Strowman's going to win it, but Owens is going to steal the thing and cash it in.
They seem to be setting up for...
they've never really...
They seem to be setting up for Strowman to lose it, because the match stipulation is, however he loses that thing. So... if he gets disqualified, if he gets counted out, so Owens doesn't have to legit pin him to win the briefcase. Do you know what I thought would be really funny to do, right?
What?
Because the other title match is Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles.
Yes.
Now that should be the better match right now. What I would do, if I was a bit of fantasy booking for you, okay, this is what I'd do. A couple of different things.
Right.
I wouldn't put Reigns and Roman on. Reigns and Lesnar on as the last match, right?
Okay.
Because it's a fucking long ass show.
Yeah.
People are going to be tired by the end of it. It's just going to get booed out of the fucking building because no one's particularly thrilled with either wrestler.
Nobody does 30 seconds faster than Brock Lesnar.
Well, true. But what I'd do is I would put Samoa Joe and AJ on last.
Okay.
Because I think people would be more willing to watch that as a good match. Now, what I'd do is I'd put the world title match on earlier between Lesnar and Reigns before the Braun Strowman and Kevin Owens match to really throw people off.
Okay.
I'd have Braun come out before his match, cash in the Money in the Bank and win the title, and then Owens kicks off to Stephanie and complains, and because he goes, he stole my opportunity to win the Money in the Bank match,
and she makes it.
I'll give you a title match, and those two have a title match, but they keep the same stipulation where however he loses the belt.
Nice,
right?
And then what? Owens wins.
Fuck yeah. Here's the other one. Another way of doing it is what I would do is, because you've had this whole back and forth between Heyman, whether he'll,
drop
betray Lesnar,
Lesnar,
and
yeah.
the last thing going in looks like it was all a ruse. I'd have it as like a double cross. I'd have Heyman call in some help to beat Lesnar to set Reigns up in a heel faction.
Nice.
A new dangerous alliance, if you will.
Nice, yeah.
And I'd bring in a certain tag team to do it.
Which tag team?
Well, a lot of people would say the Usos, what with them actually being family. But I'm thinking more of a dominant tag team that's been a little bit absent. And I'd bring in the Authors of Pain to come in, because they could legit be seen to beat up Lesnar.
They could, yes.
For Reigns to win. And then you have Reigns and the Authors of Pain as the new dangerous alliance.
With Heyman.
With Heyman.
That would be sick.
That's fucking money.
I mean, the Authors of Pain were really good with Ellering. Ellering was good with big tag teams like that. I mean, he did the original Legion of Boom.
That's what they need. They need them out because they're no fucking good on the mic. So you give them a great.
They're no good on the mic. So you just need, and you got to keep Heyman in. You got to keep Heyman involved. The thing is, obviously, with everything we know about Brock Lesnar wanting to go back to the UFC, it's like, well, what do we do?
He's in UFC shape as well now. So on Raw, I was looking at his body type wise. It's like, wow, he's definitely in UFC shape, not wrestling shape. He's able to go.
But you got to give Heyman something, because if whenever it happens, Lesnar decides to return, Heyman's got to still be there, because nobody does Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, but he's betrayed him before, hasn't he?
Yeah, yes. So it's about that.
But yeah, but it'll be good. So it'll be interesting now. By the time this podcast goes out, we'll probably be very wrong. And you'll be listening to it going, none of that shit happened,
or it's all on tape, and we're like, we knew what was going to happen.
That'd be amazing.
NXT, though, quickly before we go into the new segment, NXT, Gargano versus Ciampa. My money is on Ciampa. He surprised me when he won the title of the last NXT. And I spoiled it for Andy, which was a shame. I thought you already knew. No, and then I spoiled it because he's a big Aleister Black fan. Aleister Black's injured at the moment, which was a massive shame. That would have been an amazing triple threat.
The only thing is now, because it's a last man standing match, and apparently that was supposed to be the second match.
Right.
But because on the main card, Shinsuke and AJ were having a last man standing match, they scrapped it and turned it into a street fight, or whatever it was, no DQ match. The only thing I can't wait, because those two matches were both phenomenal.
Yeah.
Where can they go? What else can they do? Really?
I mean,
someone's going to have to pull out a fucking knife.
Johnny Gargano winning the title is the best place that they can go. I'm like, Gargano seems to work. He's doing a Daniel Bryan. He's losing all of his main matches, but he gets the bonuses after.
Everyone loves him. He's
he is. He's absolutely amazing. Like I said, my money's on Tommaso Ciampa. I just love that name as well.
Oh, and he's awesome, isn't he?
He comes out with no music.
Twitter, he's amazing. It's like, he keeps kayfabe on Twitter where he talks shit to people, and then like he comes out to cut a promo and he talks to the belt like it's a real person, which is so old school and awesome, and the crowd just shout these obscenities at him.
And he just ignores them. He just walks out.
It's going to be great. I mean, you got Velveteen Dream versus EC3. Velveteen Dream will lose again because he loses all of his feuds. But I think he's going to be a call-up. I think he's going to get called up to the main roster after SummerSlam, because there's always some call-ups.
Yeah.
He'll go to SmackDown and he'll start winning matches.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, I reckon so too. But at the same time, they've got to use his. They've got to use his character. They keep messing up the NXT draft up. They bring the NXT characters up.
They fuck up.
And then they fuck up their characters, because the characters don't mold well with the storylines that they want to do. So they change them, and we just lose interest in them after a while. I mean, Asuka comes up. She's a female NXT fucking amazing champion. She comes up and she loses to Carmella.
Yeah, they killed it. Yeah, they
and Carmella's got the title now.
Yeah.
But
Andre Cien almost is only just now coming back.
But I do get to see Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. Becky Lynch is amazing.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome. I can see her turning heel though in this one.
Oh, actually, Ronda Rousey versus Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what?
My money's on Rousey.
She's not going to win the title.
Really?
No.
I think she will.
But she ain't going to do it clean either. I think they're saving that for the women's pay-per-view Evolution. It'll be a big on the shoulders moment. I can see some screwy finish where she gets protected and doesn't lose, or if she does get pinned, it's because Jim Neidhart died recently, yeah?
Yes.
So Natalia, his daughter, obviously has been off TV while she's dealing with that. Maybe they bring her back and it's always teased because they're best mates. If you're best mates in wrestling, one of you's turning on the other eventually,
One of you's going to get super kicked through a glass window.
Maybe Natalia comes back and
betrays,
costs her the title. They move into a program for a little bit,
it would be good, because at least they'd work together then. Yeah.
A lot of the time in wrestling is when there's a bereavement like that, someone gets a push out of it. I'm not being, when Eddie Guerrero died, Ray got a massive push
Yeah.
because it was this thing of capitalizing. Maybe that's not the right word, but I mean it is. It's capitalizing on, like, you know, like, everyone's thinking about this. It's in the public eye. Let's give this really good feel good moment. So,
Well, I mean,
you know,
wrestling
Natalia comes
crowds
back
love
and
it.
does
I mean, like I said, going straight into the news with that, Jim the Anvil Neidhart passed away, and
63.
I think he was fighting some disease. Christopher Nowinski was talking about what he
I believe he
had.
had Alzheimer's.
Yeah,
I believe.
and he was suffering with it for a while.
Yeah.
But it caught me because somebody, a friend of mine, posted on their Facebook page a picture of the Heart Foundation from WWF. So you had Brett in the middle, you had Owen, you had David Boy Smith, Brian Pillman, and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and everybody apart from Bret the Hitman Hart was in black and white.
Yeah.
You know, and I was sat there and I was like,
they're all gone.
Fuck, they're all gone. Bret's the last one. How harsh must that be for him to have this whole history that every time you look at something that you've done, you know, it must...
The people in it aren't with him anymore.
Yeah, it must be beautiful that he still remembers them like that, but at the same time, it's heartbreaking. But it also made me think of the Von Erichs.
Yeah, it's another tragic.
Yeah, the Von Erichs are a southern wrestling family, and there was, 5 brothers in there?
Yeah, I think so. I couldn't name more.
I couldn't name
I mean, the most famous, obviously, is Kerry Von Erich, who
Yeah.
wrestled as Texas Tornado in wrestling, if anyone remembers back in the day of
Yeah,
gigs.
but back in the day,
They
70s,
were, though, in, like, Texas.
In Texas, they were...
Texas was Von Erich country. When the Freebirds would come in, because it was all territories back then.
Yeah.
This is like the kind of stuff that Steve Austin would go to watch in the Sportatorium.
Yes.
You know,
that's what gave him the choice to go into wrestling.
I believe. I might be Austin, actually. But, yeah, man, the Von Erichs were a huge part of wrestling history. But like you said, they're a bit of a tragic
family that a lot of members, and there's only like one of them left, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, it must be so heartbreaking. But yeah, so Jim the Anvil Neidhart sadly passed away. Obviously, we're only recently just getting over Brian Christopher passing away. I couldn't remember if I brought it up in the last podcast.
Nikolai Volkov on the same weekend.
Yeah.
And terrible, but I've forgotten the name of the other wrestler, but he wasn't quite as famous.
It was an independent guy. But so many recently, and we're going into SummerSlam, and you know, heart goes out to the Neidhart family.
Yeah, man, definitely. It's
Natalia must be fucking inconsolable.
Jim Neidhart was fantastic talent as well. He was like spent a lot of time in the Hart Foundation with Bret Hart as his tag partner, and he'd be the guy that's like, you know, Bret Hart would do that. I got one thing to say, and then say 10 things.
Yeah.
And then Jim Neidhart would be like, yeah, baby, and stroke his beard.
Stroke his beard a couple of times.
He was just his hype man. He was awesome. He was like a big, you know,
he was the powerhouse.
Bret Hart was the technician.
Yeah.
Neidhart was the ex-football, because they're constantly telling you that he was like an all-star football player.
Yeah.
Would just get down in a 3-point stance and knock people over.
Just knock people over.
Awesome.
Yeah. The harsh thing was, the day after the news had dropped that he passed away, I was watching Raw editing, and it was the Raw where he's the last one of the Hart Foundation. Owen's gone, Davey's gone, Brett's gone, and D-Generation X, Shawn Michaels, Triple H call out Neidhart and offer him a spot in D-Generation X.
Yeah.
And then they turn on him and give him a beatdown in the middle of the ring, and I'm just like, I bet you Shawn Michaels is crying into his cereal right now. You know, but yeah. Trying to stay on that somber tone, Aretha Franklin dies, age 76.
For us, this happened about 2 days ago.
About 2 days ago at the time of this recording. But the weirdest thing is, I'm going to spoil this. We were requested through one of our patrons to review the Blues Brothers. So we literally reviewed it the day before that news dropped.
Oh, that's crazy, man.
I
She's
know.
got that great scene, hasn't she? Sings Think in the middle of the diner when they try to get the bass player
amazing
back.
scene. You know, she was she had a massive career in soul, rock and roll, R&B. You know, she a pair of lungs on her. You know.
I always remember singing America's Beautiful at WrestleMania 3.
Yes.
She came back at 20, I believe, as well. She came back a couple of times to sing songs.
You watch way too much wrestling, you know that.
Is there such a thing?
No, but you know, you can keep going. Yeah. But just, you know, why can't they bring in immortality for these poor mortals? You know, they just keep dropping like flies. You know, there must be some great stages up in heaven. You know,
to be fair though, was she 76?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. That's not really that old. My dad's like 74, so that's like, you know.
But then got to, at the same time, if you think of what they've also got, including your dad as well, how much alcohol and drugs they've done over their time, you know, the 60s and 70s for them.
My dad, alcohol-wise, all of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Big drinker, bless him.
So we are on to the news section now, and Back to the Future 4 is not happening. good. I just want to chuck that out there. That's actually something I'm not looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, as much as it's sort of like, if someone told me there was a Back to the Future 4, I'd be like, oh, okay, I guess. But also the fact it's not happening is like, well, not going to ruin Back to the Future today. Thanks.
Well, obviously, reading off of the notes that Gary's here, so I'm paraphrasing as much as I can. Michael J. Fox has discussed the possibility of a fourth installment in the series at a fan expo. Thomas Wilson, who played Biff, Christopher Lloyd, who played the Doc, and Leah Thompson, who played Marty's mum, were also at the expo, and the questions of a fourth film came up.
Marty's mum / love interest.
Oh, yes. I always feel awkward with those scenes, because the way when he first wakes up in the first movie, she fancies him. In the second movie, she wakes up, she's got those massive,
big titties.
And then in the third
Mom, you're so big.
In the third one, even though, she's not supposed to be looking sexual, that accent she puts on, Marty, do not be giving him one of those hats. I can't do an Irish accent. That was my attempt at one. But, if you've seen Back to the Future 3, that was what Marty, don't be putting that hat on there, Mrs. Brown.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, of course. Do you know what, for a minute, I was like, wait, was she fucking Irish? And I was like, oh, yeah, the third one. It's
fucking...
Oh, Mr. McFly, I see you found yourself a hat there.
We're going to get slated for...
Probably.
Well, that's just our take on the actors doing the...
Hey, dear.
Yeah. But Biff Tannen said, Thomas Wilson said, basically, I think America is saying, come on, they've wrecked every other franchise with bad sequels. Why not this one? Come on, we would watch it until it sucks. And it's like, he is true there. There is a company out there.
That's not a good attitude, possibly, to go into making a movie, though. It's like, we're going to do this until it's shit.
Well, he's probably... I see that, and he's probably saying, look, I don't want to come back for it because I don't want to be typecast as just always being in a Back to the Future movie. But
it's fucking Thomas. What else is he in?
Back to the Future.
He's Biff fucking Tannen typecast. It's like, dude, throw me some work.
But at the same time, maybe he doesn't need the money, so he would be badgered to come back to make the film. If Michael,
he won all that money on his 18th birthday, didn't he? Gambling with the almanac.
So he lost it because the almanac got taken off.
Oh shit! Wrong timeline.
But if Michael J. Fox is up for it, Christopher Lloyd is up for it, and a lot of the other cast, maybe just some of the main cast. You could do what they're planning on doing with Bill and Ted, and make it just that they're in the background and that the story follows for a new generation. Because, I know, yes, Andy's looking at me like he wants to stab me in the face.
No. Crossover.
What, with crossover with Bill and Ted and Back to the Future?
Crossover.
Back to the Bill and Ted Adventures.
Bill and Ted's Great Future Adventure.
Oh. Yeah, you could do that.
Fuck it, they're both time travel franchises.
Yeah.
And then you only need, where it's like, if Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd are up for it, who the fuck else do you really need?
You need Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter.
Well, no, I mean, like for Back to the Future.
Oh right,
so
yeah.
Like,
if you just have them, but you could have just a couple of teens coming across the time machine, accidentally going back, and having to find their way back. Yeah. Or they
ruin everything.
They travel back.
Marty has to have sex with his mother.
They travel back in the phone booth, and they haven't got any time travel parts. But then they come across a car in a cave with paintings on the wall, which they take parts out to stick in. There's a video where Christopher Lloyd comes up saying, "If you travel back in any other time machine apart from DeLorean, you can use this part, and this part to fix to whatever you're using. Maybe it's a caravan, maybe it's a train, maybe it's even a phone booth. Who knows? That's yeah."
He pops up like Jimmy Kimmel in the fucking Jurassic World video, and
just a little face, yeah. So the future's open for it. You never know. In some timeline, they have gone up to 4, 5, and 6 of Back to the Future, but we'll just have to see.
The same timeline that we're on Jaws 19.
Yes. James Gunn will not be rehired as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 director, despite a fan campaign to rehire him, reaching over 380,000 signatures. And the film cast released a group statement in full support of the director. Disney chairman Alan Horn has said no. Looks like they're still going to be using his script for the third film. James Gunn, last podcast we were talking about, me and Andy were obviously discussing about the Twitter posts, and we said that it was a little bit risque, but he was young. At the same time, I've seen the pictures where he went to catch a predator party.
Themed party.
Where where he was dressed up as a priest. Now, To Catch a Predator over here in the UK, I don't know if they have it anywhere else, is a program where...
Well, no, it's from the States.
Is
we got this one from the States.
Oh, right, okay. But it's a show about them chasing down pedophiles and investigating them.
Mm-hmm. Well, not so much investigating. It was literally like... Who's it? I can't remember the guy who fucking presented it, but they'd entrap people online with this unit that's there to, like, they pose as... you know, like underage people, and sort of agree to meet them. They meet them at this house, and out walks this. When they get there, there's a fucking there's a young
like
person there, which is
girl,
quite risky, even though there's
luring them
security.
In.
And they kind of go, "Oh, I'm just going to go to the toilet." They nip off for a minute, just wait here, and these fucking disgusting guys are like standing there, and this dude just comes out and's like, "Hey man, just take a seat right here," and then just has a conversation with him. We've been talking what the fuck are you doing?
You think you've been talking to this underage girl who really wants to see pictures of your penis, and you've actually been talking to us, and we basically entrapped you to this situation. Now, obviously, we've got to stay on the location with James Gunn, but he goes to a party which is themed by this and dresses himself up as a priest, where the females that go to these parties
dressed up in like school uniforms,
dressed up as school uniforms and as young girls and posed, and I'm like, right. You know, we've all done...
Pretty dumb in hindsight.
We've all done fucked up shit in the past.
I mean, we've all been to Catch a Predator themed parties.
We've all just... No, we've never. We just have normal barbecues. Me and Andy lead really boring lives in comparison. Yeah. But you think... You think if you knew these pictures were out there, or if you knew that certain people might have access to that stuff, that you would just delete it and just try and forget it. If you are wanting to forget that part of you and move on into a future, you don't keep the fucking evidence lying around.
Well, this is a problem, man. It's like, in a way, it's almost like James Gunn could spearhead a really good campaign to like teach young kids about the dangers of the internet, where he's like, no, but he'd be like, look, when you put it on the internet, it's fucking out there forever.
It's out there.
You know, there are actual campaigns going on in the UK at the minute for like young kids and stuff, and it's like, as parents, it's petrifying to see things where they're basically teaching kids in school now, if you send a nude photo, it's on the internet forever.
Yeah,
you know, and the fact we have to teach our children this is harrowing enough. But it's like, dude, I think you just found your poster child of this campaign.
Yeah,
James Gunn, like, oh, you think you lost a lot? Try losing a fucking Disney contract.
Disney presents James Gunn's story.
Yeah,
you know. And it's all animated.
Probably as well, like the Fox Studios one now. Like, you can keep this.
Directed by Seth MacFarlane.
Probably.
Yeah. So with the whole James Gunn issue, I will be surprised if he recovers from this. I will also be very
7 years, I think, is the sentence.
I'll also be very surprised if anything else comes out. Whoever stuck out, released all this information, I think they knew what they were doing, and they wanted to harm him. So whoever he's hurt in the past, fucked him good. Tarsh. Star Trek Discovery. Ethan Peck, grandson of Gregory Peck, to play Spock in season 2 of Star Trek Discovery.
Okay, I don't know who that is. He's the grandson of Gregory Peck.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's been in.
No, I mean, obviously we saw the trailer last podcast where the girl talks about how she's the...
it's his foster brother.
It's her foster brother. And we were like, what the fuck? And I kind of wanted it to be Zachary Quinto coming in.
Yeah,
that would have been sweet, incorporating it in with the films. But at the same time, if they're bringing in a new Spock, okay. He has a lot of shit. He's not going to be working for Zachary Quinto. He is going to be working for fucking Leonard Nimoy. You know, he is going to be trying to fill those shoes. That is Spock. The hair, the ears, the mannerisms, the expressions. That is the Spock that we all know. So if anything else comes out, you know, if he... I mean, I don't know.
It's like a Supergirl situation, though, dude, isn't it? Where you've got, you know, like how Zachary Quinto is like the movie lead for Spock. Right?
Yeah.
You know, he's been in the 3 movies, and you would assume
Leonard Nimoy is the
the current one, right? Okay.
Right. Yeah.
It's like you've got Leonard Nimoy as the original, and then you've got Zachary Quinto, and then you've got fucking Gregory Peck's grandson.
Yeah.
It's like how you've got Christopher Reeve with Superman. Yeah.
Right.
We'll skip Brandon Routh.
Yeah.
Christopher Reeve with Superman, and then you have Henry Cavill is Superman in the cinematic universe, but Supergirl, there's that dude who plays Superman in that show,
right?
And it's kind of like, you know,
you ignore Tom Welling as well.
Like, but it's that kind of situation, I guess, isn't it? Where you just have these different versions, but they're not, the stories aren't intertwined.
But I mean, even though you have these different versions, they've got to still portray the character. You know,
doesn't this separate it completely from the movies though? Because who's the cat? Pike's coming into it, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
So Christopher Pike is in the J.J. Abrams movies, and obviously he has Spock under his command. So it's like, that maybe
I mean,
like expand on their relationship more.
Well, that's
an
all alternative timeline. In the original timeline,
well, of course, yeah, because fucking Leonard Nimoy's in it, so it is a totally.
In the original timeline, in the original TV series, Spock worked with Pike first in the cage or the menagerie, which was the original pilot, and then they replaced Pike with Kirk. So I see this one as
well done.
Yeah, I see this one. I've still got it on VHS.
Nice.
I've still got that film on VHS, and the cool thing is, it flicks back and forth between the black and white and color sequences, just to show you the differences. It would be good. Like I said, he's got to obviously play Spock. He's got to portray Spock in a way. I don't know how the whole foster brother thing's going to work out yet, because then they'll have to bring in the whole family. Savik will probably turn up at some point.
I don't know that they need to, but I mean, maybe. I mean, it's all there, isn't it?
To expand on it. But
it's interesting though, because like this is like we're talking about a Star Trek TV series where they drop F-bombs and stuff.
Yeah, and
it'd be really funny for like I'd pay good money to hear like Spock call someone a shit cunt or something.
Oh, you fuckface!
That's logical.
The fucking torpedoes.
Fucking dickhead.
You fucking dickhead. Fucking human.
Speaking of that, I don't think we talked about it last time, but talking about trailers and stuff like that, did you watch the Teen Titans trailer from Comic-Con?
What, the adult theme one?
Yeah, where he's like, fuck Batman. And I was like, what?
Yeah. But at the same time, I've been a bit of a Teen Titans fan since I was watching the cartoon series with Dylan.
Yeah.
And I really want to see the Teen Titans movie as well.
Yeah, I'm going to take Sorry.
New Star Trek series with Patrick Stewart returning as Jean-Luc, confirmed by the man himself. Takes place 20 years after The Next Generation and all the movies. Unlikely to be captain of a starship. Well, by that time he should be like superior admiral of the whole fucking
Well, he does say
fleet.
he's playing Picard 20 years after the movies. Was it Nemesis was the last one? So it's essentially set 20 years after that.
Yeah, but he was already. I mean, he should have been admiral after that. I don't know if he was admiral in that already, but he would obviously just garner those ranks just by his experience. But Stewart said that I will always be very proud to have been part of Star Trek: The Next Generation. But when we wrapped the final movie in the spring of 2002, I truly felt my time with Star Trek had run its natural course. It is therefore an unexpected but delightful surprise to find myself excited and invigorated to be returning to Jean-Luc Picard and to explore new dimensions with him, seeking out new life for him when I thought that life was over. During these past years, it has been humbling to hear many stories about how the Next Generation brought people comfort, saw them through difficult periods in their lives, or how the example of Jean-Luc inspired so many to follow in his footsteps, pursuing science, exploration and leadership. I look forward to working with our brilliant creative teams as we endeavour to bring a fresh, unexpected and pertinent story to life once more.
Well done.
What's pertinent?
It means like, it applies to it.
Oh, right. Oh, okay, yeah.
So
Gary uses big words.
No, again, he said that. Like, Patrick Stewart.
Did
you see this announcement when he did it at a fan convention?
No, I saw it after it. It was all burst over Facebook.
It was pretty beautiful. Like, he's on stage, he gets real emotional, and the crowd go nuts when he says, like, Jean-Luc Picard is coming back.
Well, this is it.
He's
already been Professor X. He's done so much. I absolutely loved him in Green Room. That was an amazing film, and it was just nice to see him do something else other than Jean-Luc Picard. Now it has gotten to that stage now where it's like, yeah, he can go back and do it.
Fuck it.
He will rock it better than Shatner did with playing Kirk. Well, but he won't milk it as much.
Picard was always that kind of like gentleman character. He was like he was a gentleman, and he was like he was so well spoken. He was so educated and so smart, and then Patrick Stewart just exemplifies that, doesn't he? And it's like he can go back and have that kind of. He'll have just that voice of wisdom and that experience in the role, as in actually as in a character.
And then he'll fucking die in an episode, and we'll weep like.
He probably will, yeah. Dude, he's probably gonna go, but it's because it's almost like you forget if you go back over Next Generation. Picard goes through some shit.
Yes, he does.
He is. I think a lot of people looked at him as like because he was bald. Maybe they were like. He's old as fuck. Why isn't Riker in charge of this thing?
We need something
more
dude, action.
Picard is a badass. Like he fucks people's day up.
So one of the best episodes I remember. When I was younger, I thought it was boring, but I watched it a few months ago because it was replaying on TV. And it's an episode where Picard is on a planet with a woman, and he's fallen in love, and he's forgotten that he's the captain of a starship.
Isn't it like there's a whole society where they're literally almost bewitched by it, isn't it?
I don't know if that was the same. Possibly when they came down, they were like amazed by it all. But he had to be taken back and shown all of his memories again. You know, and it was just like he was happy and was easily just able to give up his the captain's chair because he was happy. But then when he got his memories back, he was like, that's really who I am. I'm responsible for this. I need to go back. And it's like, oh, hell yeah.
I always remember the one where he was sort of like being held captive by the Cardassian sort of like...
Oh, and he's being tortured and he's by like David Warner.
He's showing him like four lights, and he keeps like, he's trying to make him say what he wants to say, and he's like, by the end of it, he's just completely like, they literally let him go, and he's just a state.
Yeah, just a shout. That was a
powerful performance.
The sequel to Train to Busan starts filling next year. Next year. Director Young Sang-ho said that it is an extension of Train to Busan after the virus has spread throughout Korea, but the characters are not the same. It shares the same worldview and is a zombie action film that deals with the aftermath of the peninsula of what happened in Train to Busan. Now, I have not seen this film yet. I have wikied it.
I've not seen Train to Busan either.
It was an enjoyable story to read, nigh on predictable, depending on how many zombie movies or infected movies you've been through. I haven't seen it yet to be able to know if they are zombies. I use air quotes, bunny ears to say that, or if they are just infected.
I'm not getting into this argument with you again.
It's not an argument, man. It's simple fucking physics. It's simple maths. There are many types of zombies. But there are many different layers of infection, you know. So you have the standard zombie, which I always portray as George A. Romero's zombie. Take anyone from Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead. That's a zombie to me. Slow, shuffling, eats flesh, rots over a long period. Same with The Walking Dead. If you have any...
28 days later,
they are infected with the rage virus. They are not dead because they die of starvation.
That sigh wasn't at you. The sigh was at the fucking premise.
Yes, they die. No, the premise is good because it's not a zombie. It keeps it fresh. If you have somebody who dies from a bite, like the remake Dawn of the Dead, and they get up and run, they are...
fast zombies.
They are fast zombies, but they're not, like I said, they are infected zombies because... one scratch.
Your definition of zombie is undead that can pass on the infection that are craving human flesh.
Preferably
brains.
Yeah, No, Return of the Living Dead are infected as well.
Okay.
Because obviously they get infected by the gas. People are hitting their comment section right now, ready to tear me. They're like,
probably.
Oh, we got to get
if
on
not,
this.
they're just fucking used to it.
Yeah, but Train to Busan, I mean, I need to see what they are. I kind of envision them as fast running because that's what people love. They're on a train which keeps it enclosed, which is a good idea. Adapting it, making it... How can you make a film Train to Busan 2 if it's not on a train? Unless they're going back to Busan on a train to find the cure.
Imagine if it was now sort of like, I don't know, like airboat to Busan or something, like, and they just keep changing the vehicle. Basically, like fucking Under Siege.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a boat, now it's on a fucking train!
I'm expecting the Americans to remake it and just call it Zombies on a Train.
Oh,
you know?
Sam Jackson licking his lips, waiting for the call. Yeah, man, fucking right.
But I do need to see Train to Busan. It was on Film 4 a few weeks ago, and I totally missed it because I was asleep.
I might watch that.
But yeah, it's supposed to be really, really good. And Korean horror movies are always well done. So you know it's going to be violent, you know it's going to be gory, you know it's going to be tense-filled. It's definitely going to be better than World War Z, which is an infection movie, not a zombie movie.
Well, it's an infection on cinema. Like, they should never have made it.
Well, because nobody, they don't eat human flesh. And
well, no, it's kind of like what was the Omega Man fucking remake? I Am Legend, isn't it? It's like, again, yeah, it's fair. I'll draw the definition there. It's like they're certainly not zombies. They're
certainly not zombies. World War Z is a slight on film. Stephen King from A Buick 8 is the next adaptation coming to the cinema screens. I think that was the short story one.
No idea on this one.
This is Gary
territory. Yeah.
From A Buick 8 is a novel about our fascination with deadly things, about our insistence on answers when there are none, about terror and courage in the face of the unknowable from the book sleeve. And you know, everyone's loving Stephen King shit at the moment. He is swimming in his own pile of money.
Oh, he's Scrooge McDuck in it.
And he is glad that he did all the cocaine before, because now he's got money to live on.
Yeah, dude. Well, like you said, I'm not familiar with the book at all, but yeah, absolutely. Stephen King is a very hot property to have at the moment.
Yes.
TV and movie, obviously.
First image of Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor in the Terminator reboot alternative timeline has appeared.
I've not seen this.
I have.
Does she look like an old Sarah Connor?
Right, you take the picture of her from Terminator 2 where she's got the black glasses on and all that equipment, right, and then just
age her
a lot.
You do a reverse Marvel on her.
She
is there a twin in it?
I don't know, but I mean, she.
It'd be great if her twin got fat.
It's like they're really fucking milking it now. You know, I love a Terminator movie. Don't get me wrong, but if this one flops, I enjoy all the Terminator movies. If this one flops for everybody else, like Genesis did, or Salvation did, or Terminator 3 did, then I'm just like, just fucking stop for a bit, because nobody is enjoying your stuff. I'm enjoying it. I enjoyed Salvation. It was an enjoyable movie from a different perspective. I enjoyed Genesis for as silly as it was.
I kind of enjoyed Genesis from that. I got very early in that movie. I was like, oh, this is all kinds of fucking stupid.
Yes.
And just was like, okay, I'm in for the popcorn now. So yeah, Salvation I didn't like.
What was wrong with Salvation?
Just all of it, really.
Salvation. Michael Ironside is fucking awesome in Salvation.
Nah.
You know, alright, don't get me wrong, fucking what's his face playing the Terminator, he was being used a lot because he was in Avatar at the time.
I can't remember his name, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. That guy, he was
the best thing about Salvation was that fucking recorded rant by Christian Bale at the cameraman when he got like in his way during the scene. He's just like, no, shouting at him. He's like, good for you. Like,
the guy who played Carl Reese, I did like that, but I wanted them to really expand on that whole story, and they just dropped it.
He's gone.
Anton Yelchin, yeah. Well, he's gone now, but they could progress with that. I liked, like in Genesis, I liked when they brought in
Varro from Spartacus.
Yeah, but they also had the old Time Lord Matt Smith, and he played this Terminator that attacked John Connor right at the beginning. And I'm like, expand that story! No, fuck
that was
y'all.
A weird fucking part. The fact he's literally only in it for 2 minutes. Like, I'm not a Matt Smith fan though, but I mean, but he was like, he is a name. You know, it's like you got to recognise real, and that, like, he is a big name. And for him to just have that really small part, he was Matt Smith's in it. I was like, all right. I was like, barely.
5 seconds.
He's barely fucking in it. It's not like they even go back to him near the end or anything.
No, they just go on somewhere else.
I'll have to look that up. I haven't seen that picture though.
Time Bandits TV series is now starring pre-production at Amazon. I love Time Bandits.
I love Time Bandits. This could go either way.
Yeah.
How would you recapture Time Bandits?
Easy. You have a little kid come across the Time Bandits, and every episode is them just going through time, getting into mad adventures. I mean, are they going to use dwarfs for this? I would hope so, because that's how I've always seen the Time Bandits.
Midgets. I think you got to say midgets.
Do I? Is that really going correct?
I think so.
Short people?
Sure.
Small people? I mean, Warwick Davis.
We're just going to call them Warwick Davis. You have to use like 9 Warwick Davis.
No, I can't say that. I see it as dwarfs, but I can also see them just using, anybody.
We're showing our age now, because we should have said Peter Dinklage, obviously. No.
Peter Dinklage, yeah. Well, I don't watch Game of Thrones so much, so. But they could go with it. All they need to do is get the kid in, and that will get the kids in to get behind the story. Then you have the fantasy elements. When they go back in history, you've got to have some adult jokes. I mean, I love that whole bit in Time Bandits, the movie with John Cleese. Where he's just like, marvellous, yes, I'm just going to steal everything from you because, well, that's what we do, thank you, and it's just, I love the
You can see him bringing, like, John Cleese will probably turn up in it or something, like in a cameo.
And then having bringing David Warner up again, having him as Evil.
Oh, man.
Evil was just fucking awesome.
Crazy was he in that movie?
Was it?
He was down here recently, wasn't he? He was in Plymouth not too long ago.
Yes, he's going for the sci-fi show down here.
Oh, man, he's fucking off the wall in that movie.
I love the bit where he just turns to one of his
minions
and he goes, "You? Yes," and he just zaps him and the minion explodes.
Yeah.
But the minion's really happy that he's been picked out of everybody to be exploded. It's awesome. Hold the Dark, the next film by director Jeremy Solner, who did Green Room, set to have his highest body count. The film will be a Netflix original starring Jeffrey Wright as a wolf expert.
Whether you stopped there and then
who encounters rabid wolves in an Alaskan village when 3 girls go missing.
Oh, so it's like The Grey, maybe?
Yeah.
Look good.
Is he going to be talking to the wolves? Is it going to turn out that he's actually turning into a wolf?
The wolf whisperer.
Highest body count. I mean, I'd like to see his other films first. I know, obviously, we saw Green Room, which was quite gory, but really well done. So if he keeps that... aspect that he takes in his films into the TV show, it'll be gory and realistic. But the whole wolf thing will probably be like a backstory to this other It's probably going to be fucking Twin Peaks all over again. It's going to be the baker who killed the 3 girls, but he keeps wolves, probably.
That'd be sweet.
Spoilers. Jim Carrey is starring in a new TV series, Kidding. Kidding will follow Jeff, aka Mr. Pickles, an icon of children's television, a beacon of kindness and wisdom to America's impressionable young minds and the parents who grew up with him.
So he's like Mr. Rogers.
Yeah. Who also anchors a multi-million-dollar branding empire. But when this beloved personality's family, wife, 2 sons, sister and father begin to implode... his family begin to implode. I thought the people just exploded. Right. Jeff finds no fairy tale or fable or puppet will guide him through this crisis, which advances faster than his means to cope. The result: a kind man in a cruel world faces a slow leak of sanity, as hilarious as it is heartbreaking. Joining the cast are producer Seb, Frank Langella, head puppet creator Deirdre, Catherine Keener, who was in, I believe that's the woman from Death to Smoochie and Cinedoki New York, who I always call as a bitch. Okay. Because she kind of... I could be wrong. Jeff's estranged wife, played by Judy Greer. Know that name?
Yeah, can't place it.
No, I don't think it's the sister to Pam Greer. The show is being directed by Michael Gondry, Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. So he's worked with Jim Carrey before. And Jim Carrey... I mean...
I find everything he does interesting at the minute, dude, to be honest. So, I'll be in the bag to watch this.
That whole synopsis, though, is like... you've seen Death to Smoochie?
No.
You've not seen Death to Smoochie? No. Death to Smoochie was an awesome film with Robin Williams and Edward Norton. And Robin Williams was this great TV show person.
Oh, shit. You know? Oh, I know what you... Sorry,
and
yes,
he gets fired, and God. Edward Norton comes up as the Pink Rhino. Yeah. I see that in there, and I'm like... As good as this sounds, if it doesn't maintain a kind of black comedy element throughout it, it'll become too dark and too serious, and maybe audiences might not enjoy Jim Carrey as this dark character.
This might hinge entirely on his performance. The way
totally.
Take it, yeah.
Totally. I mean, as long as he can see the jokes on the other side before he goes completely batshit crazy, that will be good. But if it is just all dark and he just starts imagining murdering absolutely everybody, can I see Jim Carrey going on a killing spree?
I could, totally.
I mean, what was the guy from Breaking Bad called again?
Walter thingy.
Yeah, the guy who played Walter White. I mean,
yeah.
I saw him.
Now I can't pull a name.
Bryan Cranston.
Thank you.
Bryan Cranston. Because I saw him in obviously Malcolm in the Middle first, and then when I did see him Breaking Bad, I was very surprised and immediately loved his performance because he'd gone from massive, huge comedy to
Breaking Bad.
So if Jim Carrey's able to do that, that'd be even better. New Supergirl movie in the works, not attached to the DC TV verse, but the DC extended universe.
Of course there is.
I like the Supergirl movie.
The original. Yeah, man, I like the Supergirl movie. That was cool.
It's stupid, and just it's everything we remember how stupid the other Superman movies were. But she did look nice in a Supergirl outfit.
She did indeed.
I really, really try not to sexualize women like that. Because obviously I'm married and I have massive respect for women, but. Damn, Supergirl.
Never finish the sentence. I have massive respect for women, but that quickly.
Okay, sorry about that.
However, I mean, look, it's obviously like the most successful one critically is Wonder Woman. Marvel are bringing in Captain Marvel next.
Yes.
I mean, I know they've talked about Sirens movie and everything like that, But,
Black Canary.
Yeah. Obviously, you're going to do Supergirl. Of course you're going to do Supergirl.
I mean, Supergirl come in.
The TV series is massively successful. The character's popular again. Of course you do a movie.
But what I think they need to do, obviously, to avoid situations, they should just have her go up against somebody, who is seemingly fucking invincible. And the only person that can bring it down, bring this person down, is Supergirl, and she beats the fucking shit out of them. Because that's what we want to see.
If you're not going to do it in the Superman verse, have her fight fucking Brainiac or something.
Have her fight.
Don't necessarily have to have her fight like a female lead or something.
No, but what I'm saying is, I don't want her to get into a situation where, oh my god, she's just made all these friends halfway through the movie, and 20 quid bet that these friends end up getting captured and she has to pull off some fast flying shit to save them all, and Brainiac just gets handcuffed at the end. I want her to fucking have an actual fight where it looks like shit, she could actually get crushed by that giant robot's pneumatic claw.
Well, it's the DC extended universe, dude, so it's gonna be dark as fuck.
Yeah, and but then she goes, actually I'm Supergirl, and rips it in half and tears off Brainiac's head, and he goes, ha ha ha, I'm a robot, you can't kill me.
Snaps his neck.
Snaps his head, pulls his head off, but it's like a head in a jar, you know, and she's like, and it's really gory, and you're like, that would be fucking cool.
Nice.
I'd like that.
Yeah, I like that.
So, before we get into the theme, we're quickly going to throw out the trailers. We didn't actually check any trailers.
When you said trailers to me earlier, I was like, we didn't watch it. Although I have seen one of them.
Yes, I've seen one of them. It's probably the same one. Slaughterhouse Rules.
Yeah!
We have seen the Slaughterhouse Rules one. What the fuck,
dude? I'm in the bag for that because it's Simon Pegg.
It's Simon Pegg, Martin Sheen, and Nick Frost.
Yeah,
it's about a boarding school, I believe it is.
It's like a very posh boarding school.
And the kids are
in the woods,
told not to go to certain areas. Something comes out of the woods and just starts murdering loads of people. So it looks like a silly
Attack the Block style, but set in a posh school.
Yeah, but I feel like it's going to just be a silly teenage horror movie for them to cash in on.
Yeah, but it's a British one, dude, and we don't get as many of them.
I know. I like that. I also like the fact that in the trailer you had Nick Frost go, "This hole goes all the way to hell. Anybody want to buy any drugs?"
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, I can see the comedy is going to be in this film, but
Martin Sheen as well. He's like, he plays some serious character. He's a great actor, but he's really slapstick in the trailer, in the way he's like, they're obviously getting attacked by something you can't see off screen, and they're getting into a car, and he's like, seatbelts.
Yeah, seatbelts. Safety first, everybody. Safety first, and you're just like, run.
Then teamwork.
But Maniac trailer. I mean, like I said, we didn't check the trailers before we hit record, but it's written here, multi-reality brain magic shit. 21st of September.
Maybe we watch it in one of the breaks, and when we come back.
Okay, but before
I've not seen it. The only one that, when it said Maniac, I was like, what, that Elijah Wood movie?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean,
obviously it's not that. I would have thought.
I'm hoping.
Unless these are really old notes.
Well, yeah. Maniac. I mean, can they? If it's a completely different film, can they go with a different aspect, different story to it?
Well, yeah. Are you asking, can they reuse the name?
Yeah.
That was confusing. I guess obviously they can.
Well, we will just have to check that out. But here's
unless the entire title of the movie is Maniac Trailer, and it's about a sentient RV that drives around killing people.
Whoa, I did not think of it that way. A killer RV going around, which
Gary writes very literally, so when he's like Maniac Trailer, he
kind of links into our next theme, because Robin Williams was in a film called RV.
He was.
Oh,
maybe it's about that RV.
RV2, multi-reality brain magic shit. But that will bring us to the end of part 1. Join us for part 2, where we will be trying to hold back the tears as we discuss the life and times of Robin Williams. And welcome back, everybody, to part 2 of the podcast, which the theme for this episode is on Robin Williams.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Oh, Captain, my Captain. Robin McLaurin Williams, born July 21st, 1951, died August 11th, 2014.
Just come up to the anniversary, dude.
Oh, man, I've just had goosebumps just go over me as well, just even saying it out loud. Man. Just actually acknowledging that. I'm just going to say right now, when the news broke that he committed suicide, I had a really, really fucking special moment. I was obviously I wouldn't say I was absolutely heartbroken in tears, because I obviously still had to carry on with my life. And I've always held this thing where, you have celebrities and you have normal people like me, you, and everybody else I know. So, when a celebrity passes away, it doesn't hit me as if like a family member dies. But when the news dropped that Robin Williams passed, I was like, oh my God, I cannot even bring myself to watch another Robin Williams film ever again.
Shows like that's the kind of impact that he had through his work on people. Yeah.
But it was like a day later, my wife was going away to see a friend in Cardiff, and so it was just me at home with Dylan and our stepson Tom. And Dylan was in bed, Tom was sat downstairs playing on his PC, I was upstairs in my bedroom, just alone chilling, and The Fisher King was on TV. And I was just like, fuck me, I'm fucking watching that. It's on. I'm just going to do it. And now in my bedroom, I've got a converted attic as my bedroom, which the windows are obviously in the roof that open up. And I was stood at the window and I was having a cigarette and I was watching Robin Williams talk to Jeff Bridges. And I looked out thinking about, obviously, he's just passed away. And a fucking shooting star went past. Now, I don't remember seeing any other shooting star as clear as I saw that one. And it just seemed to encapsulate this whole kind of Robin Williams moment I was having. That I was just like, wow, that's the kind of impact that guy had. You know, he was an American actor, comedian, born in Chicago, started up a stand-up comedian in San Francisco and Los Angeles in the mid-1970s. And then once he hit TV, once he hit movies, he had a career that spanned literally all the way up into the late 2000s. And it was only because of Lewy body disease that he started getting afflicted with it, that he obviously committed suicide. And it was brought on by what people seem to believe dementia with Lewy bodies can cause common dementia symptoms, including problems with memory and thinking skills. And it's, you know, it pains me to think of where his mind must have been.
Yeah, I mean, because that's where he was. He was a great thinker. He was so fast, wasn't he? He was such a fast thinker.
Yeah.
And, you know, like would come up with stuff just off the cuff. His Behind the Actor Studio
episode
where he just leads a masterclass
in
improv and like takes this girl's scarf and just like it's wonderful to like see.
He could change his voice, his mannerisms, everything about him. In like a turn of a dime. You're looking at the same Robin Williams you've just been watching for the last 10 minutes, but then all of a sudden he's just become somebody completely different, telling a completely different story, and you are in fucking stitches. I mean, first place I ever saw him was Mork and Mindy.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
Channel 4.
Yeah, Channel 4 in the morning,
Saturday mornings. You know, they messed around with the series, so I wasn't able to watch absolutely every single episode. But you know, I believe I saw the whole of the first and second series where he first turned up and he hangs out with that girl. Then an egg turns up in their bedroom. And it turns out that they've given birth to a kid who is like fucking 40 years old.
Yeah,
then they end up,
old geezer.
and then they end up having a shop and going and working in the shop, and they were together in a relationship at that point. But Mork was still contacting his home planet. Orson, you know, Mork Orson, come in Orson, and Nanu, and it was just it was so beautiful to fucking watch at such a young age, to get behind this character that you would be doing the Nanu.
Man, Mork and Mindy was such a random thing to happen as well, because Mork, do you know where that character first appeared?
Saturday Night Live.
Happy Days.
Oh yes, yeah.
It was on Happy Days, and that was an episode that I believe the director or the writer wrote for his kid who wanted to see an alien.
Yes.
But he kind of purposely wrote a really bad script, and the actor who was going to play him didn't want to do it. Robin Williams, when he auditioned apparently for an alien, when the casting agent was like, take a seat, he did that, stood on his head and got it, because he's like, well, that's how an alien would take a seat, or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So he was so impressive in that role that they greenlit Mork and Mindy in 4 days.
Wow. From
that performance. That's how quickly it took off.
Yeah.
And that was it. He was off and running with it.
Everybody just loved him. I mean, I was like I said in the first part, we recently did the Blues Brothers film with Jim Belushi. I've got to say Jim Belushi because I'm going to drop this spoiler now. I do my intro like I always do, and I say certain thing, but I say John Belushi instead. And I completely no,
the other way around. I know what you're saying.
It's Jim Belushi who's still alive, and it's John Belushi who was in the Blues Brothers, and I got those two mixed up. So if you watch the intro of the Blues Brothers, that's what happens. I'm admitting to it now. I'm not going to change it. So I live and die by the fucking sword. Robin Williams and John Belushi were bestest friends. And John Belushi was a big drinker, big drug taker. I mean,
Robin Williams was a hugely confessed cokehead.
Oh yes, Robin Williams was even a cokehead, and he was the last person, one of the last people to see John Belushi alive. Yeah. On the night that he died, and he got called in for questioning, and you know, it really shook him up. That shit, you know, one of my closest best friends has just died. You know, you think, fuck me, he still had to go back to his life. He had to go back on stage and laugh and joke and make millions of people happy, where kind of deep down inside there was a dark place.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, he had, I mean, Christopher Reeve was one of his best friends as well. They went to Juilliard together.
Really?
Yeah, I remember a story that I heard like years back when obviously Christopher Reeve had the accident.
Yes.
And he's in traction. You know, he's in the hospital. And apparently, Robin Williams went to the hospital to see him. And this is when he's like, Christopher Reeve's at his absolute lowest. You know, he's not come out of this talking to anyone where he's conscious, but he's obviously very low. And Robin Williams apparently stole or procured some scrubs and burst into his room.
He Patch Adam'd him by
bursting into his room with a Russian accent, claiming he was there to deliver a colonoscopy. And that made Christopher Reeve laugh for the first time since the accident. I was like, how beautiful a fucking story is that he would go in and do something like that. Do you know what I mean? But I tell you something actually I just remembered as well about Mork and Mindy.
Okay.
They had to censor him in like 4 or 5 languages. Because what they didn't know is when he was going into all these like Russian and Hispanic accents and stuff like that, he was saying in the language he was saying things he shouldn't say, and they brought in an interpreter to censor him. Excuse me. So he started swearing in like Yiddish.
Right, okay.
So when he'd been told that the interpreter was Jewish and knew what he was doing.
Oh shit!
I was just like, what a legend, absolute legend.
That's it. I mean, like I said, the first film I properly saw. Robin Williams in was Popeye from 1980. I remember it being on Channel 4. I remember the advert.
I had that on VHS.
I remember the "I Am What I Am" song going round. I always
like when he ad-libs with the baby. He fucking ad-libs with that baby because he's talking to the baby and he's reading the note from its mother.
Yeah.
And the baby's making baby noises. But it's like he's reading the note and you can see Robin Williams' hand in the shot and it's just on the baby and the baby goes, baby. And he goes, you're a baby, I know, it says right here. And he keeps going and stuff, like, you know, and the baby starts to cry and get a face on.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, it's like if the baby's going to cry, they're not going to be able to do the scene or whatever. And he goes like, he's like, hey, we're together in this. And the baby goes, and he goes, and carries on. I was like, that was fucking genius, man.
That's it.
So funny.
I mean, you
can see he's like, you know, giving the baby a little tickle and stuff just to sort of like keep him happy as he's reading it. Because they've got the camera on the baby. Oh, it was such a good scene.
I mean, I love the fact, you know, when I was younger, I was a big Popeye fan. You know, it was one of the big cartoon shoots.
Yeah.
Watch,
We grew up on
you got
that,
to eat
man.
your spinach and shit because
So you get really bulky forearms.
You can punch people. You can get tanks appear in your muscles.
Yeah, man.
You know, shit.
That's always what I look for in the gym now. I'm like, can't see that
out. But when the film came out, I was like, I need to watch this. And then when I realised it was Robin Williams, I was just like, I think it was one of a young age, one of the first times where I realised that an actor could do these kind of things, you know, completely change themselves. But with the prosthetic effects and the pipe, you know, the whole movie for me is like, they could remake a Popeye movie. You'd have to keep the
no one would know
element.
who he was though now, I don't think.
That's the beauty of it, because people will go and watch anything because they're like, well, I don't know what it is, let's just go see what it is.
It's a whole generation that don't know about Popeye.
It's a comedy, you know, it's good for the kids. But seeing him in that was awesome. His comedy roles are, I'd say, is one of the biggest things that people remember him as.
Yeah,
you know?
obviously, yeah, but I mean, he had some very, very dramatic roles.
Yeah, he had very, very dramatic roles, but it's like you say to somebody, do you know Robin Williams' film? It's either Mrs. Doubtfire or Aladdin.
Yeah.
You know, and unless you're a big fan and you're watching pretty much anything else, it's Good Morning Vietnam.
Yeah, man.
You know, it's Death to Smoochie. It's even filmed. I punish myself for this as much as I can, and I still haven't got round to it. But I've never seen 1 hour photo.
That's so. I was just about to say I've never seen it either.
Have you never seen 1 hour?
No, I know. I mean, I know the premise of it and everything like that. And to be fair, when we were, because we're going to do a top 5 in a minute, aren't we, of the film? So I was like, I was looking at videos like collections at other people's sort of like top 10s and stuff, only to realize like, Jesus Christ, the amount of movies I've done. Why did you tell me to do a top 5? It was so difficult. But so I was going through, and 1 hour photo kept coming up, and again, I know the premise of it, but yeah, I've never got around to watching it, and it seems to be in a lot of people's top 10 at least of Robin Williams performances. Maybe just because it's like he's so disturbed, you know, it's in that movie.
I mean, I haven't fully seen it either, but I've wikied the story, but his role in it is more simply just sinister.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he did. He did Insomnia, which I think also starred Robert De Niro. Or is it Al Pacino?
Al Pacino, isn't it?
Al Pacino?
I think it's Al Pacino.
What?
He's out in the woods, isn't he, and stuff like that.
And he
like,
can't
the
sleep.
The cop can't sleep, and he's trying to chase down like the killer.
Yeah, I remember.
I think it is Al Pacino.
I'm getting flashes now of Jack Nicholson being in another.
I've only seen it once. I know I've only seen it once, but I'm pretty sure it's Al Pacino. I could be fucking.
But I mean, that I have definitely that film Insomnia I definitely have seen, and he was definitely dark and sinister in that, and it really threw me. I mean, part of me didn't like the film, mainly because not because his performance was bad. It was because his performance was evil. That I was like, I don't fancy. If Robin Williams just turned up in my house that day and was like, "Hey, can I come and play your kids?" I'd be like, "No, fuck off."
Yeah.
Who the fuck?
Got that creepy blonde hair in it, hasn't he?
I mean, that's how I felt. It's like when it's how you feel when like you watch the Mrs. Doubtfire parody trailers they do now with like a sinister tone to it. Have you seen those? Yeah. And it makes Mrs. Doubtfire seem like really fucking evil. But that's another film that I remember. I think it was 93. Yes, that when that came out, skyrocketed.
Yeah, it was huge. Doubtfire was huge.
He was over with the wrestling fans. Like, he was done. But he'd only just come off the back of doing Aladdin, the genie.
Yep. Yeah, which was an amazing performance. I know it's funny because I know that he said in interviews that he had problems with Disney with Aladdin because he didn't want to do it.
Yeah. Because
he wanted to. He didn't want his likeness used to sell shit to kids. He was like, "Well, that Burger King crap, I don't want that."
Kind of like the joke that he takes in Mrs. Doubtfire with
absolutely,
the smoking bird.
The cigarette, yeah. And it's funny that, which I think was actually like a bit of a tag to him, but naturally Disney were like, "Yeah, okay, we won't do that," and instantly went back on it and started peddling his shit.
Well,
and
it was such a
as part of an apology, they apparently what I heard is that they sent him an original like Picasso painting or something by way of an apology.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like settlement or something. But
I
mean, one thing, because obviously we might as well go into our top fives because we're talking about all of his movies anyway. But the other thing as well that some people might not even like of a certain age might not even know is Robin Williams was one of the most polished and incredible stand-up comedians.
Oh yeah.
You have ever have the pleasure of watching, and you can watch a lot of his stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can watch a lot of his stuff with Billy Crystal.
Oh yes.
It's incredible, and it is, by his own admission, coke-fueled mayhem.
Yes.
It's incredible. He's off the wall. But the other thing that's really interesting, kind of close to our hearts as well, before we go into the top five, I'd say, is motherfucker was a big nerd.
Yes.
Another reason I love him.
He loved computer games.
He loved computer games. He another interview that because I've watched so many interviews with him where he talks about he was big into like World of Warcraft, but also into Call of Duty. He loved like military style shooters. And
awesome.
What he would do is he used to say he said, the problem is I'm playing a game against like 15, 16-year-old kids, and I have the reflexes of a 50-year-old ex-coke addict. So he'd get his ass handed to him a lot, is what he's basically saying. And he was like, they don't know they're playing me. All they know is a very angry Russian man is cursing them out on over fucking the internet, which is amazing. But he used to play Warhammer 40k as well.
Really?
Yeah. There's a story that we always heard working in the store, and sort of like it's a pretty well-known story in that kind of community that he used to frequent the Toronto Games Workshop, and there's stories where he would go in because he's like the other thing that he was really into as well was like Legends of Zelda. He called his daughter Zelda.
Called his daughter Zelda. Yeah.
And he was really into that kind of thing, and he would be in playing with his daughter there sometimes and friends. And there's stories where he would, whilst you're playing the game, he played Eldar, which is Space Elves, is the easy way to describe it. And like is a very famous one where he was using his Space Elves, his Eldar against an Orc player.
Yeah.
Orcs being orcs, everyone knows what an Orc is, and he would. While he's playing, do voices
for the characters,
and the Eldar would be very fey and get like feminine, like "Hi sailor, I'm from San Francisco," like he used to and stuff, and the orcs would be all gruff and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh my god, I would have paid money.
Yeah, you'd
to be able to do that,
like, just to be opposite Robin Williams and voice. Even if you lost, you'd be like, I'm flummoxing my dice.
Oh my god, I'd be like,
on purpose.
That'd be the greatest experience ever. I'd absolutely love that. So yeah, that's another thing that I love to identify him with. Is like dude was a big gamer, big old nerd. Wasn't afraid of it either, embraced that as his lifestyle.
Yeah.
So that's always
oh man, it's just so fucking heartbreaking as well, because I've got Gary's list of films that he's done, Robin Williams has done here, and even though half of them I've not seen, it's it would pain me. It would pain me just as much to go see a Robin Williams film I haven't seen to one that I've seen multiple times. Like, I mean, my wife was saying, I asked my wife what her favourite top one would be if she had just had to pick one, and she said Bicentennial Man.
Bicentennial Man,
where he's
is
the robot.
A wonderful fucking movie.
Oh
dude.
my god, yeah, that's it. When she wanted to buy that movie, she turned to me one day and she's just like, "I'm just going to buy some DVDs." I'm like, "Okay," and it turns up, and I open up the packet, and there's Bicentennial Man. I'm like, what the fuck should she buy this for? I mean, Jesus Christ, we need copies of like the new Saw movie and fucking we need all the Batman and Superman movies and fucking X-Men's and before obviously we started with the Marvel ones. Bicentennial Man, and then
what was it, like 99, 2000, around that time, I think?
Yeah,
Man,
yeah, it came out around about the same time as AI.
Yeah, I remember when he was like, what was it? He does that. He starts telling jokes. Obviously, he plays a robot.
He plays a robot.
He plays a robot that is basically a fucking butler.
Yeah,
in essence. And he starts to develop these personality traits. Sam Neill plays a fantastic like head of the family and stuff, and they're out having breakfast in their garden, and he comes out and they've been trying to work on jokes.
Yeah,
and timing.
Yes, and timing.
Having Sam Neill explain comedy timing to a robot Robin Williams is not lost on me at how ironic that is.
No, it's not.
He's trying to say like, you know, about like there's a time and place for jokes, and he says like, he literally comes to breakfast table, he's like, "How about now?" And he's like, "Okay, Andrew," because the name of the robot's Andrew. And then he launches into like a Robin Williams style stand-up. But they're all like really family-friendly jokes that you can take out. He's like, two cannibals are eating a clown, and one of them turns to the other and says, "This tastes funny to you?" And it's like, still like that. He's like, "Doctor sees a woman for a breast exam, says, 'Can I numb your breast?' He goes, 'Yes.' She goes, 'Num, num, 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 num.'" It's like, it's so fucking funny.
The family are trying
and the
not
makeup's
to
amazing.
laugh.
Yeah.
But they break out, you break out into laughter, and then there's just this heartwarming thing of you following a robot Robin Williams so he can find his purpose. He
eventually finds his humanity, and
he becomes
beautiful.
human. And I remember, like I said, it came out around about the same time as AI. And was it AI is Spielberg, and it was supposed to be really massive. I think it's Spielberg.
Yeah.
It was either him or Scott at the time. But I remember watching AI and finding AI quite boring and a bit dark.
Yeah, it should have finished like 40 minutes before it did.
Yes. Bicentennial Man was just enough. You know, by the end of it, I was happy that I'd gone this whole adventure with him. He was also, I mean, I just looking at the notes, actually, he was in AI, actually, as Dr. No.
I don't remember that
just
movie,
a voice.
Much about that
so
movie
he,
at all.
You know,
so, yeah. He's done it again. He's done a lot of voices, actually, hasn't he? With like Happy Feet and Aladdin.
He plays the little chunky penguin.
Yeah, it's great though, because like, again, that's another one of his voices where he's got that Hispanic like, "Come on, we dance now." And, like, you know, stuff. It's like, so the kid will watch it, and I'll be like, "Oh, I want to watch this fucking penguin movie," and then I hear that voice, and I'm like, "All right, I'll stick around for a minute."
Yeah, just gonna get the Robin Williams.
Should we launch into our top 5 then?
Well, you can. I mean, you hit, because I gotta admit, I didn't write top 5.
Well, I
just wrote down a bunch of Robin Williams movies that I really liked.
What I did was, like I was saying to you earlier, is I had a problem with writing an actual top 5. So what I did is I picked 5, and these are in no particular order I've done. I know Gary's written us his top 5.
Yeah, I've got Gary's here.
I just picked. I was like, I'm going to write down the 5 Robin Williams movies that if you told me I had to watch 5 of his movies right now, this is what I'd do and this is what I'd watch.
Okay, so we start at number 5.
These are in no real particular order, I've got to admit, but I will say, we've already talked about it a bit, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Brilliant film. I love that whole bit where he's dancing on the table with his son to
jump around.
House of Pain. House of Pain. It's the first time I ever heard House of Pain.
He does so many voices in that movie as well. Like, they even have that little gag reel where she's like, the employment office, like, "What do you do?" He's like, "I do voices." You know, and he launches into like 3 or 4 random characters at her, and she's just sat there like, "The fuck." Oh, I loved it. But when I was looking at movies last night, I'd never heard this story until last night. It was like a little known thing about him is apparently they're filming in LA.
Okay.
With Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
He would go out in the makeup.
Yeah, I can see that.
And go into sex shops and engage the clerk talking about buying big dildos. And see how long he could go before they realised who they were talking to, and gradually apparently get closer and closer, really uncomfortable, in character talking to him. And so apparently some of them were like, "Am I being fucking punked or whatever?" Like, you know, and catch him out, which I was just like, what a fucking genius. Oh, but yeah, man, it was great. It was Sally Field, Pierce Brosnan, who's like really good in it. Like, he's coming off of, I suppose he's probably coming off of
Goldeneye
at that point, or maybe, you know, he's not done it yet, but it's a wonderful story as well. I mean, I can see where the creepy things come from, because it's basically a dad who loses his kids in a custody battle, who, to spend time with them, takes on the persona of an old British nanny with the help of his gay brother and husband.
Yeah.
With prosthetic makeup.
Yeah.
And,
it's like when he turns to his brother and he's like, "Make me a woman," and he's played by that actor.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, with a gruff voice. Oh yes, we're just gonna pull you back up.
Oh, it's amazing.
But the prosthetic effects for that movie always just amaze me as well, because it's like when I watch Mrs. Doubtfire now, they should just have that as a character. They should have another fucking storytelling older character, but maybe dressed up. Maybe David Walliams dressed up.
Do you know what
Brennan.
that character would totally play as well? Like, the whole spoilers by the end of the movie is he gets his own show as Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
In that kind of Mr. Rogers style, like we were talking, like what Jim Carrey's about to do. In that kind of, here's today's lesson, kids. Always be good to people, and that kind of thing. And that would totally play in any generation, wouldn't it?
Because you always love the heartwarming granny, even if it is a man in a suit.
Yeah.
Who might be coked up.
Mine might have been.
Yeah.
Coked up and a man.
Yeah. Next film.
Okay. Well, Gary's number 5 we'll mention, which is again this is in my top 5 as well. So I will mention this one, as Gary started his number 5 with Good Will Hunting.
Oh God.
Which is, I believe, his only Academy Award winning role. He won Best Supporting Actor. I remember that.
Yeah.
That fucking movie won all the Oscars, didn't it? Got Ben and Matt an Oscar. He plays
the teacher who helps Matt Damon get onto his path.
Realizes.
I never saw it when it first came out. It wasn't until I'd gone through Dogma. No, it wasn't until I'd gone through Jay and Silent Bob Strike
when
Back.
You have the callback to it, was like Good Will Hunting 2.
Good Will Hunting 2, and it was just all these jokes. I was like, I've got
Ben
to
Affleck
watch.
is so good in that
I've got
scene.
to watch this film, and so I went and watched Good Will Hunting, and we always say this a lot about like Ben Affleck. We always say a lot of jokes about Matt Damon. That film made them. They were able to do fucking anything after that. And they're able to go. I mean, they're quite still young in their
they were
career.
real young in that, weren't they, man?
They're still able to take their skills up against Robin Williams, who he's playing a very serious role. He's only saying a few adult jokes here and there.
It's like a somber role.
I think his wife died.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He gets unleashed, isn't it? Where it's like he's all somber with him and stuff, and he's like giving him all these quotes and inspirational things, and trying to get him to come out of the shell, but letting him do it in his own time. He's been
and Matt Damon is.
He says something about his wife, and he's literally got him by the throat.
Yeah,
and he's like, say something about my wife, Chief.
Yeah. And Matt Damon, this tough guy Matt Damon you've watched throughout the film, it's just like, I don't know what to do now, and you're like, when he doesn't know what to do. Robin Williams has him now.
Yeah.
I am going to mold you into something that you don't want to be, but secretly you do.
But I know what you need to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful performance. Do you know what? I got to give props to, because we're talking about the movie, but the fucking Ben Affleck is great.
I was about to say.
I fucking love it.
I was about to say Ben Affleck gets a lot of slack. Like I said, Matt Damon gets a lot of slack, but Ben Affleck as the buddy of Matt Damon.
It's when he because he talks about, doesn't he, where he's saying about like, I have that fantasy about I go to get you one day and you're not there.
Yeah.
And you see, like, you have that whole thing play out, and he gets out of the car and he goes to knock on his door to go to their shitty construction job or whatever, and like, pick him up, and he's not there, and he doesn't like freak out. He just turns around and shrugs.
He just kind of smiles
because he knows his friend is. God, it's fucking beautiful.
But the cool thing about that, talking about Robin Williams, is we also did Dead Poets Society for the show, and it was the first time I'd ever watched that film the first time I'd ever watched the film at all. But because I'd seen Good Will Hunting, I saw what Robin Williams kind of took from his character in Dead Poets Society.
Yeah, the teacher, the guider,
and bringing it into Good Will Hunting. So for a part of me, it's like an extension of that character.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a good call. Well, Gary's number 4, which isn't on my list. And I don't know if we haven't really touched your list.
You didn't.
Well, you said you didn't do one.
I'll just throw films out. If we don't bring them up, obviously I've got a few.
Gary's number 4, because I say Good Will Hunting was also on my list right after Miss Doubtfire. So if you haven't understood it, it's Hook.
Man, I fucking love Hook.
It's a great performance.
I love.
That button down.
Who's Smeagol played by again? Bob Hoskins.
Oh yeah.
Smeagol is
Smee, not Smeagol. It's fucking Gollum, you nutbag.
Smee. What about Smee? Smee. Love that. Dustin Hoffman.
But Dustin Hoffman's like when he's like, That's it, Smee. I'm going to kill myself.
Yes.
I've had enough. Finally, it's
Smee,
don't you try and stop
Don't
me
try
at
and
all.
stop
Smee,
me.
get over here, you idiot. I'm going to do it. It's fucking brilliant.
I've just had an epiphany.
Yeah.
Lightning just struck my brain. But then to go up against an aging
Peter Pan, yeah.
played by Robin Williams, who...
Well, he plays this really buttoned-down guy at first, doesn't he?
Well,
like,
yeah,
you know,
he's an American businessman.
Proper stuffed shirt, as they
he
say.
has no time for his family. He misses all of their valuable appointments. You know, he's missing out on time with his son. His daughter still loves him, but she's young, so she doesn't understand it.
Yeah.
The wife is feeling it, but she knows that he's doing all this work for
And he's
them.
lost the boy already.
The boy's just kind of like, you'll never make it to my baseball game. And then they come to England, and it turns out that what's the nanny?
Well, it's Wendy, isn't it?
Well, yeah,
It's Maggie Smith.
Maggie Smith from Harry Potter, the Harry Potter movies. But she looks really old in Hook, like really old. And I always imagined that was how old she was. And then when I saw her in later films, I was like,
oh, they actually aged her up for that.
Geez, that's makeup, because she looks really frail. She's Wendy, and she's talking to Peter, because that's his name. She's talking to Peter because she knows he's Peter Pan, but he's forgotten. And then the kids are whisked away to Neverland, and Rufio
So
schools him. You know, I loved him running around the Lost Boys location.
Yeah, man.
That was just...
It's when they're trying to convince him that everything that they're saying and doing is real because of their imagination. And he's like, you're all idiots. That, I will take it to my grave. The meal scene.
Oh, yes.
Where he's fighting, and you can see he's starving. He's like, oh my god, finally we're going to eat. And they're bringing out all these pots and pans, and there's steam coming off him. And he's like, oh, finally opens it. Nothing in them.
Nothing.
All empty. And he looks around, and the kids just start digging in.
Yeah.
And he's like, what's going on? It's like they're all pretending to eat and stuff. And he's like, you know, and they're like, why aren't you eating? And he's like, there's no food. And it's like, you have to work out. And they start having a little fucking like rap battle between him and Rufio, where he finally lets loose in Robin Williams' way and starts throwing insults and stuff. And he flicks food out of his fork.
Yes.
And this like gloop hits Rufio in the face.
Right in the face.
And then the table's full of food, and they're like, you're doing it. Oh god, I'm gonna cry. It's so good.
You will fight, you will fly, and you will... I can't believe we crowed.
And that, another sort of like where you mix in the kind of jokes that maybe kids don't get at the time. But I remember my mum and dad, when I watched it with them, lost it when they're having the fight at the end, and he goes up and that guy comes up, the pirate goes to it, he's about to sword fight with him, he's like, wait, aren't you? And he goes, Peter Pan. He goes, nope. And dives out the fucking shit. And my mum and dad lost it because it was so funny.
I love the bit towards the end where he's returned back and he leaps over the wall, crashes, digs up the phone that was thrown out the window prior to the scene, and he's hey Brad, Neverland, Captain Hook, saved a couple of lost boys, gonna have to climb a drain pipe now. Why? Because I've got no flying magic
because I can't float, because I haven't got any fairy dust.
And then he climbs up, and it's this little moment which always kind of gets me emotional when he gets to the window. And his son, you know, who's been in Neverland, who's seen everything, has seen his dad fight, you know, loves his dad even more than ever now, opens the door and he comes walking in stern face, and he's just like, what have I told you about this window? Always keep it open. And there's this whole family moment. You're like, yes. He throws the phone out the window. It's harsh though, because you know, every time you're gonna watch that, he's not there anymore.
Yeah, no, man, it's crazy.
He's not there anymore.
But it's a great. It is one of my favourites. That one. So another one on my list is well, I don't know if it's guilty pleasure, but it's like I'm gonna throw Aladdin on there because his portrayal of the genie. I mean, Aladdin's a great flick anyway.
It's a great game as well.
Yeah, it was, man. I really enjoyed it actually. Yeah, it was a great platformer. But his portrayal of the genie was fantastic, and most of those lines are all fucking ad-libbed.
Nice
as well.
I'd imagine it to be,
You know, it's just he just runs the gambit on characters in that movie and completely steals it.
It's having the flexibility of the magic of the genie, and everything Robin Williams says they can just make real.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
and I love the way that. Yeah, okay, they milked it by making 3 more movies and a TV series, and the genie was just everywhere. But I see a little blue genie come out of a lamp, I see Robin Williams.
Yeah.
You know, even if, whenever I see like old movies that used to do genies, you know, from the 40s and 50s, and they'd rub a lamp and this little bald kid would come out.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not a fucking genie.
That's not a fucking
That's
genie.
not a fucking genie. That's not even.
He hasn't sang a single song.
Yeah, we need songs. We need Abu being turned into an elephant.
Oh, man.
You know, we need a magic carpet. It's all of the magical elements in that. You know, I even go as far as say I really enjoy more than the first one, Return of Jafar, sorry.
I don't really remember that one at all.
Well, I think Jafar is being sealed as he
comes back as the Uber Sorcerer, doesn't he?
Well, he takes the powers of the genie and is locked inside the lamp, and then comes back as the Uber Sorcerer. But the genie still has some magic powers, and I think they end up flicking it again so that the genie will go back into the lamp, but he doesn't mind it because he doesn't actually like being alive.
Mm.
So that was a cool extension.
Plus, you get what's his name, Gilbert Godfrey is the fucking Iago. Jafar.
That fucking
dude.
parrot.
Oh my god.
That fucking parrot.
He stuffs me with one more cream cracker. Pow. I love Aladdin. So, Gary's number 3.
Dead Poets Society.
Oh, you've already touched on it. You've reviewed that one recently.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I mean, I've not seen it for a long time. And it was one of those movies that I watched when I was probably too young to really get a lot out of it in a way, and then I rewatched it again much later.
The funny thing is, it's a Robin Williams movie, but he's not in it that much. It's actually more about the kids. Which
of course. Yeah.
was surprising for me for the review because, you know, when I saw it when it came out, it was Robin Williams this, Robin Williams that. It was, you know, as much as what happened with Mrs. Doubtfire and Aladdin and every other one of his great blockbuster movies. But then when I actually watched it, he's not in it for that much. But when he is in it, he's poignant. You know, he has his moments with each one of the kids and tells them, you know, yeah, life sucks.
And it's up to you to do something about it.
It's up to you to do something about it, basically. You know, he doesn't even have to say it. The kids have to realise for themselves that they're being held back. And it's nice you get that message from Robin Williams. You know, he's a guy who, you know, had... Linda watched a documentary about it. And when he was growing up, his father was always working away. But when his father came back, because he was a very strict businessman, he'd only watched this one TV show with this comedian, and his dad would break out in laughter. So when Robin Williams saw this, he thought the best way to get closer to his dad was to make him laugh. So obviously that pushed him to, you know...
It's like a lot of comedians do,
you know, to study acting and, you know, become these dramatic personas and stuff like that. And then obviously he had freedom, but not so much as we know, because when he got into TV and when he got into film, he's held back by certain things, and so he's just got to be as crazy as he can with that time limit that he's got to be remembered as this person, which was a brilliant message.
Absolutely, yeah. So my number 2, I guess, then would be again, no real particular order, but I'm going to throw Popeye in there. We already talked about it a bit, but I fucking love that movie. And I think it's one of those where when I was thinking about it last night, I was like, do you know what? I haven't seen that movie in so long, I really want to watch it again.
I have not seen that film since I was about 9 years old.
No, I've not seen it since I was a kid.
And I don't know anybody who actually says, I've got Popeye on DVD.
No, I don't either. But I love it, man. It's such a good movie from start to finish. Such a good adaptation as well for a live action adaptation of a purely cartoon character. You know, it's like you're talking like 1980. There weren't necessarily a lot of those that were very popular, and
just a few simple prosthetics and just let Robin Williams
just a
act.
Squint and a pipe and some bulgy arms and stuff. But I remember when he meets his dad in it, his pappy, the Commodore, who the Commodore has been billed as like the guy who's taxing everyone, I guess, like, you know, the Prince John character all the way through the movie,
the bad guy.
And finally meets him, and he is just, I can't remember who plays him, but he is just an old version of Popeye basically. And he's like, when he sees him, he's like, Papa. And he realizes straight away that it's his dad, and he's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, we got the same bulgy arms. And he's like, no resemblance. And he goes, we got the same pipe. And he's like, you idiot, you can't inherit a pipe. But I remember when it's like they have the big fight at the end and there's an octopus involved, which freaks me out. And like Bluto has got him, and he's like, you know, he's like wrapped around him and stuff, and he's basically drowning him. And they shove the spinach down the pipe, and you just see him under the water shoot across like a torpedo. And this huge arm bounces out of the water and just knocks Bluto out. And Bluto turns yellow all his clothes turn yellow in that kind of like old school way of like a coward is yellow.
Yeah,
just swims off at like Mach 10 into the distance to get away
man,
from
I
it.
haven't seen that film, so I need to watch that again.
It's amazing. It really is, and it's like
it's got some great songs in it.
It's such a wonderful looking movie that it reminds me of like Pete's Dragon in the way that like they built this fucking seaside town, and it's a great. I mean, I'm guessing it was Disney or whoever fucking owned. I don't know, but whoever made it. Yeah, it is a very tactile set where everything is real. It's green screen wasn't a thing.
No.
Blue screen wasn't even a thing. And so yeah, they built this whole environment for him to like mess about in. The boxing match that he has with the big guy, like in the middle of the film,
right?
Like the son-in-law, the dopey son-in-law goes to fight him and gets knocked out, and then they get Popeye in and fucking knocks the shit out of him. Like that's pre-spinach as well. Like he's a badass. He is a badass. Yeah, it's like he gets hit and he swings around and hits the rope and the camera's on him and he's so mad that the pipe spins in his mouth. And he's just, it's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I loved it.
Gary's number 2 is The Fisher King.
Well, that's Terry Gilliam masterpiece. Let's be honest.
Dark movie.
Very, very. Jeff Bridges, obviously, a fantastic role. Robin Williams playing the homeless. He's not a vet. I don't know. If
he was at a restaurant with his wife, and a guy comes in and blasts everybody with a shotgun, and his wife is killed in front of him.
Right,
and it breaks his mind, and it turns out that the guy who went on the killing spree had last been talking to Jeff Bridges' radio character. And so Jeff Bridges has now suffered in his career and is just drinking and throwing his life away. And he runs into Robin Williams' character, who is trying to fight this knight and at the same time find this
he's constantly
princess.
Like chased by him throughout the movie. He sees him and stuff. Yeah.
And you know, it's funny because whenever people say Terry Gilliam films, you know, I always think of the most fantastical ones first.
And 1984 was one of his, I believe. Brazil, obviously.
Brazil. I mean, he did Time Bandits. He also did The Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
Of course.
I fucking love The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. And when Robin Williams' head detaches from his body and just starts flowing around, you know, and he's just so happy to be away from it because he was all stern. Yeah, it's really fun. Going and watching The Fisher King though. It's like halfway through, I'm like, I forget it's a Terry Gilliam film. Until the night turns up, and I'm like, what the fuck am I watching again? Shit, yeah, I'm watching The Fisher King. You know, Robin Williams is crazy and fun to be around, but he's got such a dark cloud around his character. You know, the only person that
I mean, like he's manic, but obviously there's that fucking.
I mean, he gets cut up.
Cloud that's over him.
I think he gets cut up towards the end by a bunch of fucking people who are just cutting up vagrants. But he's also got this whole love story going along with Jeff Bridges, and I remember like I said, I was watching that film the night after, and when he's lying in the grass at the end, and it's just him and Jeff Bridges smoking, just looking up at the stars. Oh, like everything was in that moment. You know, if I ever watch The Fisher King again, I'd be like, it's good, but. That was the best moment.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, my the number one that I put on my list is I feel tempted to lean into the mic, but I don't want to ruin the sound.
Okay.
But, Good Morning Vietnam.
That movie.
Fucking what a movie.
Most quoted line, I suppose, from any real war movie.
Probably, yeah.
You know, I know
absolutely.
we can say probably a lot about Apocalypse Now and Platoon and fucking Full Metal Jacket, but. What I love about Good Morning Vietnam is he seems like he knows that all the bad shit's going on, but he's just trying to keep everybody happy.
I mean, the best example is when he has that moment with the troops where he's in the van, he's in the Jeep, and he's talking to the GIs that are about to go out like in country and stuff, and he's talking to every single one of them, and he's like, "What's your name?" And he says, and he'll give him a line back and say something like, "He's like, I'm from Texas. Oh, I'm from Texas, eh?" Like, you know, and does his voices and everything like that. And he says, but he's got this real like knowing look on his face because he's stood there and he's like, he knows that these boys have basically probably been shipped off to their fucking death, and he's never going to see them again. Yeah. And when he says little things like, "I'll remember your name," and stuff, you know, it's little moments like that because obviously, you know, as he plays this radio DJ, who's you know, he does all these great things to entertain the streets. The characters he comes up with, man, and like you said, it's probably the most quotable movie where he's like, he does all these calling characters that's just
plays music
it, you know,
that they're not allowed to play as well.
Goes against that, you know, when he's like, he'll be like, hey man, how's our weather report? You got a window? Open it. Like, you know, shit like that.
It's hot,
hot and wet. It's good if you're with a woman, but not if you're in the jungle. Like, it's amazing. But then like when something does happen, he sees a bombing happen.
Yes.
And they're like, you can't report that. You can't talk about it. And he's like, bullshit, I was there. It happened. And they're like, no. And so he goes on this side of like, a bomb unofficially exploded today, and it absolutely did not, you know, and you can see him scrambling to get him off it. It's amazing.
Yeah. And
you have the guy, I can't remember his name, but who plays like the manager. He's in the military as well, but he's
that guy.
He's the station manager. He's just a dick.
Is it JT Walsh? Could be JT Walsh.
He was in like, you know,
Breakdown. I think he's in Breakdown.
Right.
Oh no.
He's also in it as well. Yeah, sorry, but he's a fantastic character because he's just like the middle manager that you fucking hate in any job, you know.
Yeah.
But the way he bounces off him is great, you know, where he's talking about the vice president coming, he's like the VP's coming in, and he's like, "Sir, is the VP a VIP? And should we keep this on the QT before we get RPA?" And it's like, oh, what the fuck. Yeah, I love it.
He just kept it uplifted. I mean, the whole Vietnam War scenario is obviously
they're not afraid to go dark in that movie at all. But it's like, it's such a roller coaster, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know?
and obviously if you're coming off the back of films like Full Metal Jacket, you know, Platoon, you know, all of the greats. I mean, even Hamburger Hill. You know, I still need to go
Ridge.
I mean, Heartbreak Ridge isn't really a.
No, but I'm just talking about like those wartime movies where you have that kind of camaraderie.
Yeah, but I mean,
granted, that's not the Vietnam.
I'm talking about like the dark aspect of the violence of Vietnam. I need Good Morning Vietnam.
For a bit of levity.
Weirdly enough, no pun intended, to make me feel good. You know, it just, I need that because this was the other side. This was what wasn't in the bush, but they knew. So Gary's number one,
which is a great pick actually, but do you know what? I'll confess, I've only seen this movie once. I watched it with my wife, and it was beautiful, but I've not rewatched it. But
What Dreams May Come.
Yeah, man.
Now,
guy loses his wife and literally goes to hell and back to find her. I believe.
He dies first.
Does he?
I think he dies first and lives in a painting that she created.
Right, yeah, I remember the painting.
Cuba Gooding Jr. is an angel who comes down to talk to him, and it turns out that his wife has died.
Right.
Or committed suicide, and he has to go to hell to rescue her. And I mean, I was saying to Linda about What Dreams May Come because she said she hadn't seen it in ages either, and I'm pretty sure it's kind of like a Dante's Inferno kind of thing where Robin Williams traverses hell to get to his wife back.
Okay.
But yeah, stunningly beautiful. You know, Robin Williams in a dramatic role, not a dark one like 1 Hour Photo, but then again not as realistic as say Good Morning Vietnam.
Yeah, you know? I just remember the main thing I remember is like Donna crying all the way through. You know?
Yeah,
she absolutely loved it.
I'm pretty sure I remember a lake of hands that try to pull.
When they're together. Yeah.
You know, and he has to help her escape. But yeah.
We might have to hopefully Gary turns up in time for the camera. We might have to get him to give his reason why. It's
I'm looking at the time. I'm like,
I've only watched it.
He's not back yet to give his blubbering, you know, interpretation of how much he loves Robin Williams.
Well, that, you know, I mean, what he has done is he's provided. I think this is really nice. Actually, is he's provided us some favourite quotes that we should go through. But actually, before that, I wanted to ask you because, like,
I've got my number.
Give us some honourable mentions at least.
I've checked a few down that I liked, but we've already done Good Morning Vietnam. Death to Smoochie was another really good one. His role in that was funny as fuck, going up against Edward Norton. I mean, Edward Norton's character is a good guy. He doesn't swear. Where Robin Williams has gone from being a millionaire to a pauper and lost everything. So he's willing on making dick cookies
just to make money,
to send them in so that Edward Norton pulls them out and fails to do it. And there's this awesome scene where Edward Norton live on camera pulls out this cock-shaped cookie in front of all these kids, and the kids are like, ah, and everyone's like, oh shit, and he looks at it and he goes, it's a rocket ship, because it's got two balls and a shaft.
Yeah, right on.
And Robin Williams, who's hiding on set to see this, jumps out and just goes on this massive tirade of it's a dick, it's a one-eyed wiener, it's your Mr. Johnson, it's a schlong, it's a this, it's a that, in front of all these kids, and it obviously makes his character worse than what it already was, but it's an amazing scene. I mean, Fern Gully, he was the bat in Fern Gully. You know, just this crazy bat with an antenna on its head, and you know, every now and again it shorts out. And
my wife loves that movie.
Flies all over the place. I mean, I already brought up The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. I love the film. Robin Williams is only in it for a short bit, but it's fucking Robin Williams.
What was the one where he played the Russian immigrant? Moscow, something in Moscow, or he comes to New York, he's like a saxophonist. That's a great performance. I just remember little things where he's sort of like he's adjusting to American culture and stuff like that. Like he's playing his saxophone, some guy's shouting at him.
I was going to say, we've got the list here. I should probably look for
fuck you too.
Saxophone player on the list. But Jumanji.
Love it, yeah, man. Love Jumanji. Great role. Very varied performance in that movie as well, you know.
I love the fact that when, you know, you have this little boy who's, you know, just been beaten up, just been in this big fight, you know, being mollycoddled all his life. Then when he disappears into the game, you get Robin Williams comes back, and he's got this experience behind his eyes. Like, I've seen
and
shit.
he's kind of a badass, but he's a badass because he's like, no, I have to be because I'm scared for my life every second.
Yes. Everything so it's not like, trying to kill me.
It's a line, whatever, I'm just going to stab it in the face. Like, no, we have to kill, you know, we have to do something about it because otherwise we all die.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a great fucking movie, Jumanji.
Yeah, and he works well with all the. I mean, it was. I remember it being kind of in the first early stages of CGI for obviously
yeah. At the time, it was very, at the time we thought that
when
was
he shouts "Stampede," you're like, run.
Yeah,
you know, I love that little scene where they're inside and they roll something about a monsoon. And one of the characters goes, "Oh,
good job, we're inside."
Yeah, he just pulls his jacket on, like, yeah, sure. Right.
When I was watching the thing last night, there was a little story about him when he was, you know, when he's fighting the alligator, the big crocodile, and wrestling it. Apparently, he was full on elbow dropping it and stuff. And at some points, they actually had to have a stuntman in the suit to move it around, and he's straddling it. And he was like, the stuntman at one point was like, "Dude, take it easy." Because he was like beating the shit out of this rubber crocodile.
It's like, I'm fighting this crocodile,
I'll tell you one that a little performance of his, you know, it's not even necessarily a great movie, but when he plays Teddy Roosevelt in Night at the Museum.
Oh, I love it.
When Ben Stiller's walking around with him and he goes back to his podium and gets on his horse and does his pose, and then he's like, kind of look at him, he just goes, "Bah!"
Yeah.
He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Gotcha." That's really funny. I like it.
Yeah. I asked Linda what her number one was going to be, and we didn't talk about it. Toys.
Toys is a movie I've probably seen 2 or 3 times, and I can't remember.
He plays the owner of a toy factory and
yeah.
is able to do all these amazing things, and then his brother turns up and wants
to apply it for the military, doesn't he?
Yeah, so he starts making military toys, and it goes against everything that Robin
I remember
Williams
the scene where they were looking at the different types of fake vomit, and because he's trying to take over the factory, he's using more and more space, and the room is getting smaller and smaller until they end up crawling on the table. Yeah, I really like that bit. Yeah,
I love the bit where he has to infiltrate his brother's side of the warehouse.
Yeah,
and so they create a music video and
pretend
on the camera that it's MTV.
Yeah,
and they just dance their way in front of the camera, and then he sneaks off. And his sister is played by Joan Cusack, I think it is, and she's a robot.
Yeah.
And it was his first toy friend that he got made when he was younger, so that he could obviously, you know, have a friend to play with. Absolutely great performance. My number one film for him has got to be Jack.
That's a great movie.
Where Robin Williams plays a boy, I believe he's like 9 or 10, and he's suffering from that aging disease.
Reverse Benjamin Button.
Yes. So Robin Williams is basically playing
he's a 40-year-old man in an 8-year-old in a 40-year-old man's body, isn't he? Like,
but it's just so heartwarming. Everything's just so nice.
Innocent. And
that he's playing along. Yeah, he's so innocent. He's seeing all these things for the first time. It's like a coming of age story for the boys as well, who are his friends. I love the scene where they all fart into a can.
Yeah.
And then whoever is at the end has to smell it.
It's like an innocent soggy biscuit.
Yeah, they're all in this tree house, and this, you know, there's those moments where you're like, man, I wish I had a tree house. You know,
so we could all fart in a can.
That's what we're doing on the next podcast.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah, it's just a really heartwarming story. I love Robin Williams' performance in it. It's just, I think Ashley Judd plays his mum, but it also is a bit controversial now because Bill Cosby plays his doctor.
Oh, so you can't watch it now?
I can't remember if he gives him any juice.
Just drink this cappuccino. Yeah.
You'll de-age.
Oh no. Tell you one that we haven't mentioned as well, saying that is Patch Adams.
Yeah, Patch Adams is
That's
a great film.
Isn't it? That's a great movie. That speech at the end actually is like one of those speeches that if you're ever wondering what to do with your life or something, just seek out Patch Adams' end speech, put that into YouTube. That's great.
So we're saying that Robin Williams went from Dead Poets Society to possibly working as a doctor and then going back to teaching and taught.
Yeah, basically, it's all one move. It's all one life.
All one life of one character. Yeah. Some of his favourite quotes. I mean, I'm just going to use this to tie.
Let's go back and forth on these. Gary,
some of the favourite quotes from Robin Williams. Okay, I'll go first. I'm going to grab one and then you go find another one. Okay, so reality is just a crutch for people who can't cope with drugs. Yes.
That is great.
Yeah, reality is.
No matter what people tell you, words and ideas can change the world. That's pretty amazing and poignant.
Yeah. Never pick a fight with an ugly person. They've got nothing to lose.
Cocaine is God's way of telling you you're making too much money.
Yeah. I mean, anybody seen Scarface? Go see Scarface. I try to make sense of things, which is why I guess I believe in destiny. There must be a reason that I am as I am. There must be.
Nice.
I've got to go with that's
man.
Well, possibly closest for me.
That's one of yours. Yes, divorce from the Latin word meaning to rip out a man's genitals through his wallet.
Yes. The word, the D word. No, almost as bad as the C word.
Yeah.
You're only given a little spark of madness. You mustn't lose it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Where are we? Spring is nature's way of saying, let's party.
Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind, always. That's
that's very poignant, knowing, the way
it's not as easy as you think, but you try.
Definitely. I think this is the last one. If women ran the world, we wouldn't have wars. Just intense negotiations every 28 days.
Yes.
Can get away with that one now. I think.
that would be an ooh from around the crowd.
I think it would be, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us on our little journey into our rendition of our eulogy, I suppose, to Robin Williams. Yeah. If you have any, chuck them into the comments section. Maybe we've missed some. Maybe we've just been rambling for the last hour about nothing.
Standard part 2 for us, I think. But
yeah.
You know what? Honestly, everyone that's listening as well, if you're a fan, if you're a fan of Robin Williams, or if you're not really if you've not seen a lot of his work, is I honestly looking at the list that we've got here of all of his, if you just Wikipedia all of his movies, I guarantee you'll look down that list and either find someone that you haven't seen that I'd say just watch him, because I bet you his performance is great in it.
RV is really good.
But also I think that it's there'll be some stuff that you should just revisit.
Yes. Oh, definitely. I mean, without a shadow of doubt. So, on that note, we will end it, and we are heading into the questions section.
Nice.
And welcome back, everybody, to part 3, the question and answers. And I'm just going to rub my lamp a little bit right here.
See if we can get a genie to pop out of it.
Abracadabra, I'm going to make Gary appear.
Woohoo! I'm here.
Gary, you made it.
Oh, I'm back. I'm late. I'm sorry I'm late back. Well, it was the time I predicted I would be back.
Yeah.
Work is hell. It's nightmarish. Everybody's going to see Meg. People are coming back to see Meg. Meg's got it going on right now.
Wow.
I heard that there was some dickhead as well throwing popcorn all over the floor, so you probably have to do with that.
Just one dickhead?
Just this dickhead.
All right. Thanks for that.
So yeah, I'm really sorry I missed the Robin Williams part of the podcast. I really wanted to talk about Robin Williams. I've just been watching a documentary with him, Come Inside My Mind, which was a fantastic documentary, and everyone should check it out.
Nice.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm ready to answer some questions.
Yes, we are on to our first question from Birds Elope with the Sun. I have 4 questions, you guys, this month. Okay, thanks. That's a good start.
Kind of abusing the privilege of the Q&A section, isn't he?
Well, yeah, it's an open forum, isn't it? Kind of. What was your first Patreon requested movie?
I know what it is, and we still have
to you'll have to... Really?
Great advertising.
Our very first ever real Patreon request was for Battle Royale, the Japanese
yes,
film.
the Japanese film.
But it was at that point where we didn't know whether we were going to do dubbed or subtitled. We also had trouble getting hold of the film and also getting a version of the film that when we got it that would work in our editing software.
Yeah.
And it became such a nightmare that we took their second or other requests.
Well, it was the early stages, if I remember, and you were still trying to get your head around editing, YouTube work, videos, all this kind of stuff, and to then be given a film, which is obviously in a foreign language
as well.
Love the film, though.
When you get your versions of the film, I will say sometimes it's in Spanish, sometimes it's in French, sometimes the lip sync goes completely out because the editing software goes, yeah, that's what I'm going to do today. I'm just going to give you 4 times the amount of work than you thought you were going to do.
It's the Robin Williams
the video file
of
just has no audio at all.
Yeah, but we have done quite a few Asian films, and we probably have Battle Royale on the list to do at some point.
But the actual first one that we did film, I can't even remember now. I could go back and look at the history. But
I mean, we did.
It's been a while.
We did Cockneys, we did Cube, we did a story of Ricky. Oh,
those were our earliest films, but they weren't Patreon requested.
Yeah.
Story of Ricky. What a flick!
I'm trying to remember who our first.
I think
real
Matthias.
patron was Matthias.
Right on, man. And I'm trying to remember there's another one as well.
Yeah,
sorry,
but you're all there, and you know what?
You
every time a Patreon request comes in, it's our first Patreon request from you, from you. So it doesn't matter when our first one is. The first one from that Patreon is our first one from you. So it starts this whole kind of relationship of what your first film is. Question 2: have you guys played any of the Fear games? Gary, you've done all of them.
I've done
1 and 2.
I've done 1, 2, and then 3. I think was the co-op one.
Oh, I might have done that one too.
And 4, I think I started and then just went, this is garbage, I'm done. And it was because, I think 2, I also quit playing as well. I never finished 2. Because I was like, at the time I was playing Rainbow Six as well.
Right, yeah.
And playing Fear, it was like, I'm walking through endless offices.
Did we play Fear together? Because we played Rainbow Six. I think I might have binned out that one as well. Because now you've said it, I think I've repressed that.
I was just tired of office spaces, and then it was like waiting for something to fly across the room. And but Fear 1, that had a really good marketing campaign where they had lots of live action film sequences to really set the game up.
Yes,
and it was the first again in a new wave that transformed horror video games for a little while.
Definitely.
It was a big, you're talking about a move into that generation of consoles as well as PC gaming, so graphically it was a big jump as well, wasn't it?
Yes,
they came along at a good time for
physics,
that. Physics,
the graphics.
Did 2 have almost like a time physics engine in it? Didn't you have some gnarly fucking powers in that one? Did you?
I really can't remember.
I just remember the little girl. I mean, I never played them all the way
from
through.
The ring.
I played the first little bit of the first one. And she turned up, and I was like, but
it was
not as good as the ring.
To get a bit convoluted with a pregnancy and
you're her son, and it
got crazy, and
which one would you say is your favourite?
Probably the first one, easily.
Birds loves Extraction Point, which
I don't even know. I think so. I may have touched it, and then I was.
Could be DLC side mission.
No, I don't think so.
I like the first one out of the 2 that I played. Or 3 that I played.
Yeah.
Hard to remember.
Question 3. Gary, what's your favourite Red Letter Media video, and who is your favourite RLM member?
I'd always say it's, I've answered it before, it's Mike Stoklasa. He's the guy who plays Plinkett.
Right.
And so my favourite video from Red Letter Media would just have to be Plinkett's review of The Phantom Menace. Which was the first video of theirs I ever seen, and then of course they continue to review the prequel trilogy. He's reviewed Titanic and Ghostbusters, and tears those films to pieces in Plinkett's fashion. But then obviously you have Half in the Bag, and Best of the Worst, and Wheel of the Worst, and I kind of zone out a little bit when Mike or Rich Evans isn't there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea what
I don't watch them now. So,
You guys are missing out.
Yeah, well, I'm too busy working, man.
We're too busy creating our own content.
Content. Question 4. Thoughts on the Alita movie? Are you guys interested in seeing it?
Battle Angel, right?
Yes, it's the CGI
fight coming.
CGI robot girl battle suit thing going around saving the underverse in some willow
It looks entertaining, but I don't know anything about it.
I'm just gonna
Japanese
go with
manga,
I'm assuming.
I'll watch it. I'm not gonna go out of my way to watch it. I'm not super excited about it.
Visually, it looks really, really nice.
Looks interesting.
The story, I'm like I said, I'm not entirely sure if it's Japanese manga or not, but I do get the feeling it's kind of in that kind of Akira kind of. What am I looking for? That kind of era. Yeah, the people are living in squalor. They're living in the slums.
Like Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, robots I think are falling from a city above them, and it's visually it's going to be massive. But the problem you sometimes have with these films, when you have maybe based on a comic book or a book, it's like 7 hours worth should be in the first film, to tell all the story. But they can't do that, so they have to shorten it down to
cut out characters, skip out major plot arcs.
Yes, and so if you are a fan, like I said, if it is a manga, if you are a fan, you're probably going to slate it. If it's not, and it's just an original story idea, it looks visually really, really good.
Cool. Okay.
Next question is from DMC Campbell. Hey Campbell.
DMC.
Hi guys, 3 questions for you both, and one for Andy. What are 3 films that don't deserve sequels? Sequel to Mac and Me is one example. And second, well, to get to a secondary part, but what are 3 films that don't deserve sequels? Tekken, Jeepers Creepers 2, RoboCop,
Greasy Strangler.
Greasy Strangler.
The film was so bad, so they don't deserve
Greasy Strangler kind of needs a sequel, man. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know. You have to see it to. It's better than Halloween 4. Halloween shouldn't really get any sequels. Alien Covenant shouldn't get a sequel.
Yeah. Well, actually, I want it to have another sequel. I want to watch the train wreck end.
Mamma Mia shouldn't have a sequel. Mamma Mia 1 was alright. Mamma Mia 2 I haven't seen, but yeah.
I think everyone else has seen it.
Yeah, right.
JFK shouldn't get a sequel.
Titanic.
Well, Raise the Titanic's technically a sequel. A sequel to Mac and Me is one example. No, they should remake Mac and Me.
Any Adam Sandler movie.
Dude,
Hotel Transylvania
3? Oh, we should talk about that.
Hotel Transylvania 4 definitely should have an example.
Whoa, that was bad.
Secondly, what are three of your best movie quotes? One of mine is from the 1986 film Maximum Overdrive, which is Jesus is coming and he is pissed.
Yeah. Favorite quotes? Vasquez, let's rock! You use it all the time. Game over, man. Game over. Anything from Aliens.
Anything from Aliens.
A lot.
A lot of Jesse Ventura's dialogue in The Predator falls into that as well.
Yeah.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Tyrannosaurus.
Oh man,
I love Friday quotes. Me and you use a lot of
Friday. I was thinking Friday, Groundhog Day,
and you ain't got shit to do.
Debo coming, hide your shit. Man, Jaws.
Abides, I quote Big Lebowski.
The Big Lebowski quite a lot. There's so many
I can't think of. So like a lot of Eddie Murphy stuff because I love all of his movies, man. So sort of like Coming to America, like. Me and Sandbags, a friend of mine, will go back and forth with it, like, yes, fuck you too.
Well, I mean, first one that has actually stabilised itself in my head, anything with Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, groovy. I say it all the time.
Army of Darkness is just.
You have at several parties when you've been drunk enough, for no reason and with no prompting, bust out the fucking "This is my boomstick speech." See straight away.
I can do the whole boomstick speech off my top of my head.
Yeah, but it's the fact that it just comes out of nowhere. It's like a fucking RKO.
Man, I tried "Hail to the King, Baby" on a lot of girls back in the day as well, and it didn't seem to work as well.
Who would have knew?
Man, I need a chainsaw in my hand just to get girls going.
You've got to have killed a deadite or done something before that.
Yeah. No, I hadn't. Thirdly, have you read any of the Freddy Krueger Nightmare on Elm Street novels, such as Suffer the Children by David Bishop and The Dream Dealers by Jeffrey Thomas?
Didn't know they existed.
I was about to say, I had no idea.
That's awesome.
I think
Freddy Krueger novels.
I got from you, I think, for Christmas one year, a Friday the 13th novel, where it's just a completely standalone adventure where these 2 murderers go to Crystal Lake. But on the back of it, they were expanding it because they were also doing the comic book series as well. And obviously they did Ash versus...
The only comic of that continuation that I ever read was the comic of Freddy versus Jason versus Ash.
Yeah.
So, a wider reading of outside Freddy Krueger movies now.
Yeah, might be quite nice.
I kind of feel like I want to seek those out, actually. You can read them.
Yeah, Amazon. Bring up Amazon.
Nice.
If so, what do you think of them? Well, if we get hold of them, we'll
let you know.
I love Freddy's Nightmares, so...
Yeah.
Oh, what, the old
TV
series?
Yeah,
Sky One. Scary ass fucking advert.
Oh.
Dude, that advert scared the shit out of me. On the cover it said, please stand by, and then he cuts through
down
it, and I was like,
Freddy was coming.
Mate.
He was coming. Question for Andy. Have you ever played the board game Hero Quest? And if so, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh, mate. Okay, well, Hero Quest being a big Games Workshop guy. Hero Quest was a collaboration between Games Workshop and MB Games. Yeah, man. It came out. I'm trying to think age-wise. So I was probably about 8 years old. So I'm guessing it came out around 1990 or something like that. And I was probably too young to play it, and no one I knew had it. So I didn't play it until a few years later when I was about 14. And it was so well packaged as well, even for the time. Like if you got a copy of it now,
the
and saw
furniture.
it.
Yes.
Well,
furniture,
just to
the
cut in,
miniatures
I
were
used
great.
to own Hero Quest.
There you go,
Used to play it with my dad and my brother a lot, and after we moved houses a lot, and eventually that copy disappeared. And so 2 Christmases ago, my dad asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I said Hero Quest and Space Crusade. And he got me them both again, so I have new copies of them, and I literally got some guys together and played through all the Hero Quest expansion, got to the ogres, had the wizards.
Fucking awesome.
Love
Man, where the fuck
Hero.
was I? We never did Hero Quest
No,
campaign.
you were editing my reviews.
Do you okay, actually the one
No, we
thing
played during the weekend when you were at work.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
sorry.
the one thing I'll always remember about Hero Quest, do you remember the advert?
Mm.
The greatest advert that will stick with me until I die, right? Because it was like you went into the game and there was a fucking, I swear they got Arnie to play the barbarian in this awesome looking goblin, but the thing I'll always remember is the kids playing it. Oh, and it was voiced over by Christopher fucking Lee, so it was metal as all fuck. Man, the fucking these 2 kids are playing with like the funniest English accents where he's like looking behind his cards, he's like, I'll use my broadsword. And the other one's like, I'll cast Fire of Wrath. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it was awesome. It was such a good advert. Yeah, it was a great game, man.
Classic game.
Yeah.
Dude, that could fucking come back at any time. Games Workshop are making money.
They made digital versions of
They
it.
did,
They did
yeah,
make
yeah.
digital versions
Yeah.
for the
Like you
PC
said, there was
Hero Quest
expansions
and
as
Space
well,
Hulk,
yeah.
Space Hulk.
So they could easily bring it back. I mean, I remember playing it, but it was a group game. You needed everybody to be in that element.
Well, a guy did GM it. You played, was his Zargon, whatever his name was. And everything.
Yeah,
You
but
said
like
that.
I had friends like somebody's dad had a copy of Hero Quest, and I really wanted to play it, so we got it all out, and I was just like, yeah, I'll be the dungeon master and set everything up to go. And people were like, we got to play with models. Nah, let's go outside.
Dice.
I'm like,
Losers.
Just sit an hour setting it up.
yeah. And then you got to pack everything away, and you're just like, fuck's sake.
Yeah, classic game.
Next question is from Matthias.
Yeah,
Hey,
Matthias.
Matthias. Good idea on getting rid of Gaming Fridays. All right, Matthias, calm down.
Damn.
But I think making board game videos is going to be a disaster. Damn, he come in fucking swinging. Editing one out
like
of
your face.
4 sounds like a lot of
It does.
work. Maybe try streaming it and see how it goes. But honestly, doing commentary seems like a lot less work. Question: have you ever considered showing us your collection of games and movies in like a special anniversary video?
Yeah. So, to address Gaming Fridays, I missed it. The first Friday that came by without a video going up, I felt empty inside. I was like,
Spent like 3 hours in bed.
yeah, I did. I'm just laying there going, could have recorded
I'm
something.
all out
But
of
then I
love.
remembered it was the rushing of the videos
Yes.
that was the problem. And at the moment that we're in now, with YouTube taking down like almost a year's worth of content
Yes,
in the
I
last
said
3
about
weeks,
Universal.
is horrible. All the new videos that we're trying to upload, I'm having to go through legal proceedings with the film companies that are just blocking the videos left, right, and centre. So on top of all the re-renders we're doing, I just wouldn't have been any time to even render, yet alone record the Gaming Friday. So the timing couldn't have been better for it. You're right about editing the board game videos, the big ones that we play. But yeah, streaming would be a much better idea. And to answer the question, yes, we have considered it, but the thing is, like, Ian's and mine's collection it's spread out in 2 locations.
Yeah,
so we'd have to just do a filming session at Ian's VHS collection.
Yeah, the funny thing is, it's like when Andy's got a man cave. He purposely, when he bought his house, devised an idea to get his own room to set up all of his stuff.
I was like, I kicked my kid into the small room, and I was like, stay out of my fucking man cave.
So, when you have
Yeah, but then again, it's like I've got all the man cave stuff, but then downstairs I've still got all the Blu-rays and DVDs.
yes,
Huge.
yeah, you've got to have it
Fucking
all
wall.
spread out, and so all my stuff is all spread out. I've got massive. I wouldn't say a massive collection. I don't collect things, using air quotes again that you can't see. I don't collect things for to portray on a massive wall. I just buy when I can something I want that I like, and then once it's done, it literally just goes on a shelf. I've got a massive collection of VHS videotapes that, I don't know, 10 years ago would have been like, man, that's really cool. Now it's like, I just want to glue them all together and make a fort. You know, because I'm probably
take all the cassettes out.
Well, I always plan to buy a DVD collection. You know, and then instead of using the money that I have to buy copies of the films that I have, I go out and buy the newest film that's out.
Right.
And then I watch that. And then I look at my video and I'm like, yeah, I could watch the Godfather trilogy on VHS, but I really want the HD DVD with the behind the scenes commentary and the deleted scenes.
I think plus now, even with like DVDs and Blu-rays, it's like the stuff that I've got on Blu-ray that if I turn Netflix on, it's on that. And I know that the sound and picture quality is a little bit better on the Blu-ray, but I'm like, oh, it's so far. Yeah, it's all the way over there, whereas Netflix is already here.
Yeah.
One button away
That
from
might
starting.
it's a fucking voice command on Connect, isn't it? You know, it's like the DVD might as well be in China.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same when it comes to like a film's on TV, and I know the advert's going to come up and shit's going to be cut out of it. But the DVD's all the way over there. You know, I just can't.
Yeah, but I
it.
think we could put a video together showing our collections, our special editions, or our collector's pieces that we want, like the Alien 25th anniversary head, or
Put pictures into the pictures on this podcast, I suppose, or something.
Yeah. Pictures will be good. Maybe he's just trying to class our house out.
He's trying to case the joint.
Exchange case out, looking at the different how many entrances.
And this is all the stuff we've got, and this is the front door.
Surprisingly, they don't have a lot of security in their houses.
No, I'm not saying anything towards you, Matthias, but you did come in swinging. So
He made some fair points.
Yeah. Craig Hall's got the next question. Hey Craig.
Hey, Craig.
Hi guys, hope you're all having fun with the recording because we all sure enjoy listening to it. Thank you very much. Seeing as folks are so far asking if you've seen certain programs, I might as well ask if you've checked out Letterkenny, a Canadian comedy. Try saying that really fast.
Letterkenny.
I sent Iain a clip on his Facebook page a few days ago and I thought he'd dig it. Also, if you have seen it, do you think an adaptation of the show based in your local area would work? Happy podcasting, lads.
Have you guys seen this?
I've seen Letterkenny, and I even showed our friend Tom because he is a big fan.
Isn't he?
He's basically a maple leaf in a human suit.
Yeah. I've only watched it on YouTube, so I've only seen like the clips. I've not seen the actual show.
Right. The thing is, right, you know how Tom is. I mean, Tom has been in a previous podcast, was the quiet guy, and he's comedy.
He's stoic, man. He's stoic.
Stoic. That's the word I'm looking for. He's stoic. That's what these people are like on this show, right? So there's this guy, and he just comes up, and I can't do a Canadian accent.
Well, they're like Canadian. They're kind of like rural Canadians.
A couple of hockey players came up to the produce stand the other day. Whatever.
Because they always describe like
to Judd from
Cemetery. Right, and it's them interacting with.
That is better.
It's them interacting with these people, but with really quick comedy timing.
So when they start insulting each other back and forth, and he's like, "You look like the skunk my dog killed and probably raped."
Stuff like that. It's just like they get to these hockey players, and the hockey players start insulting them. They set up to have a fight, and the hockey player whips his t-shirt off, but keeps his sunglasses on. So one of the guys is sat
you just take off your t-shirt to keep your sunglasses on.
Keep your sunglasses on. Yeah.
What the fuck, there, eh?
So that's basically it. Have you seen it?
Well, no, I've only seen. They got loads of clips on YouTube, so I've only seen it through that.
Yeah.
A friend of mine got me on it, and I was listening to him while I was painting, and I was just like, "What the fuck?" Because it starts off like the original series, where it would just say, "There's a town in Ontario called Letterkenny with like 6,000 people in it, and these are their problems." And it would just go back and forth, and it would be like, "Pretty big fucking meth problem there, eh?"
Did you see the one where they were talking to Squirrel Ben? I think it is? And he starts talking about the girl fingering his butthole. And they're playing baseball between the three of them, and as soon as he starts talking about it, the other two guys just start playing and just ignore him for the rest of the conversation. Yes, it was really funny. No, I don't think it would work as an adaptation here.
Yes, it would. Dude, over the bridge in Cornwall. That's basically how they talk.
Yeah, but they would just...
it would be like,
basically to be doing Letterkenny.
Guy asked me why I didn't indicate in the car. Told him it's none of his fucking business where I'm going. That's like how Cornish people would talk.
You should definitely write it then.
Okay, I'll do it.
I mean, what would your Plymouth version be?
That was almost the Plymouth version, wasn't it? What was... I don't know.
I did find it fascinating.
Went down to the pound shop the other day, didn't have enough money.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
I do need to watch the actual show though, because like I said, the clips were really good, mate. But the actors doing it, and I think there's some outtake videos I saw on there as well where they break, because they are just staring through people when they talk,
saying the funniest shit, and then just not breaking character.
Took a guy, what was it like? Guy called you a fag, and you had to fight him because you was on a first date.
I think I might need to check this out.
It's funny, dude.
When he says the guy, he's like, does that onesie come in men's sizes? So I bet you come in men's sizes.
Yeah.
Jack Hawkins has the next question. Hey,
Yo.
Jack.
Hey, Jack.
Hey, boys, my question this week. Have you ever watched I'll Be the Same Pet? And if so, opinions and maybe favourite moments.
Not
Keep
for a
up
long
the great
time.
work, boys. You make us proud to be British. Funnily enough, I use I'll Be the Same Pet when it comes to immigrants. It's my immigrant argument.
What?
Seriously, right, a few years ago,
It's
it's
gonna
like
get rough, isn't
3
it?
or 4 years ago, there was a
I'm
friend...
just going to give you a shovel.
There was a friend of mine, and they posted on their Facebook about how they hated all these Polish people coming over and taking our job.
Back to the power, boys.
Right. And, you know, I know there are some people out there who have certain opinions, and I'm going to tread extremely lightly in this position, but I brought up I'll Be the Same Pet. When I was younger, it was the story about a group of guys from Manchester and Liverpool and just basically around Newcastle. They travelled to Germany and they worked over there building the houses. Mm-hmm. So they basically went over there and they took their jobs.
Jimmy Nail, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timothy Spall was as well. A lot of British comedians. But the funny thing is, it's like, it's really funny, but it always took a dramatic turn. You know, they still had to come home. They still had to deal with their families, but they enjoyed the free lifestyle they had over there, where they could work all day with their mates, laughing and joking, then go up and get pissed up and do whatever crazy shit was happening in the episode, and then come back and have to deal with the consequences. So it started off really funny, but then took the dark tone, and because I was so young, I didn't understand it at that age. I've seen it came back as a
it did. They did like a couple of specials or something as well, didn't they? Yeah.
And it still had that darker tone because they'd all grown older. Some of them had done really well and gotten jobs in businesses. Others were just still living it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah. I'm going to keep my memory of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember my dad used to really like it because he used to work like that over in like Europe and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
and, like,
yeah,
he spent
it was
a lot
a
of time in
time during
Denmark
the
and stuff
80s,
like that.
yeah.
So he fucking loved it because he was like, it's just working men abroad. It's fantastic. And he
Yeah.
used to watch it with him. But I haven't seen it since I was a kid. What about you?
Never heard. I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
Never seen
Not
it.
a second of it.
It was definitely one of those.
sorry.
Like,
Yeah, I know. I'm just fascinated listening to you talk about it because I
said,
I've never also come across anyone mention it or bring it up either. So
it's not brought up a lot with a lot of the like, you know, you see all the time, don't you, about best British sitcoms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's always there, but it's never sort of like near the top for a lot of people. But it's definitely.
I think, like I said, it rides that line. It's not too overly dramatic, but then it's not as funny as a proper comedy should be.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike Collins has the next question. Hey, Mike.
Yo.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, guys. Hope all is well. I watched X-Men Days of Future Past the other night and really enjoyed it. However, the first time I saw it, I thought it was tripe. What films have you had do a 360 for you on a second viewing? Oh, and have either of you seen Not Wikied the Meg yet? I haven't Wikied the Meg, so
I've not seen the
Be
Meg
over
yet.
here.
Have you watched it since
I've
it's been
watched
on?
The Meg. It's the only film I've seen out of the summer releases of films. I didn't get to see Ant-Man. I didn't get to see Mission Impossible Fallout, I think it was called. But I did see Meg because I kind of like shark films. And
Yeah,
I
man.
watch a lot of shark films.
yes.
Although recently, when I'm on Netflix or Amazon and find shark films I haven't seen yet, I'm like, oh, that one sounds good. And then as soon as the title comes up, I'm like, this is not going to be good.
Yeah, you
and
do that to yourself.
I find myself skipping through the movie. I'm like, will I watch this? Maybe
You
not.
do
Will I watch
that to
this? Maybe
yourself.
not. Nah.
It's
Save
like
myself.
coming round and finding you watching the Sharknado movies and you're having a good time. And I'm looking at you like, you dare give me shit whenever I don't like an awesome movie. And you're sat here fucking enjoying Sharknado movies.
Sharks is like my weak spot.
I know,
okay?
I know.
And I've wanted for the longest time for there to be a good Megalodon movie. You know?
man.
When you first ever discovered reading about this shark that existed,
It's too big.
your imagination goes
It's
wild.
too big. In this world, it would never be able to hide as well. That's what
Okay,
we had.
but
You got to understand.
The
Yeah,
film comes up with a harebrained excuse for the reason why, and there's basically so
Is
you
it
got
set
the
in the
ocean.
Mariana Trench?
No, it goes. What
From
if there
the
was somewhere
trench.
deeper than the trench?
Yes.
And it's out in the Philippine Islands, somewhere out
Yeah.
there. And basically, they go down, and there's like a barrier, and then you go underneath that barrier, and then there's like another whole ocean kind of buried underneath it, which is super deep. But because there's this cold sort of section above it, the sharks would die if they went up into it. So that's
the
what
pressure would kill them.
But because we're going down there now and then coming back up, we're making these gaps in this cold section of water, which the Megs can get to the surface.
Oh, so there's more than one.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I was about to say something actually because I was
spoilers.
There's something
Spoilers.
I
mean, would you ever just find one Meg? I mean, it's not like Godzilla, you know. If you found one Meg, the entire ecosystem must have existed down there.
Yeah, what have they been eating for that long that there's more than one?
The other stuff that's down there,
sharks and other animals that are down there. You know, it's a stupid film, and it is.
It's got a big fucking shark in it, though, dude.
I seriously did. I'm trying to argue with him, but I saw the Greasy Strangler, so nothing even makes sense anymore.
From the Meg was to watch Jason Statham punch the biggest shark that ever existed, and I got what I paid for.
He punches the shark.
Damn right, he punches it right in the face
with a power fist.
Oh man. Okay.
Films the guy from Super, was it Rainn Wilson?
Rainn Wilson, yeah.
He's in it as the douchebag corporate guy who's funding the whole thing. But you know what I'll say is that Deep Blue Sea is still better.
Really?
Yes, Deep Blue Sea is still a better film.
Fuck.
Because this is an imitation of it. Essentially, you know, it's a scientific facility out in the ocean that has to deal with sharks. Doesn't really matter that it's a big shark. Doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, you're just waiting for Samuel. You're just waiting for Samuel Jackson to pop up.
The thing that also really upset me is that it's a rated 12 movie. So the glorious thing in the movie is them chucking chum over the boat into the ocean.
Man, you fucking waste.
Man, saying that right? When I went to see Ant-Man and the Wasp, one of the trailers that came up was The Predator.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I got a really bad feeling about it.
Oh, I've been saying it for a while now.
Well, I said it was going to be a 12 because it had a kid in it.
Oh yeah, I've read the script, Ian.
With the script. Well,
that kid is the hero of the movie.
Yes. Spoilers.
Yes, I'm sorry. Be pre-warned. This film is gonna blow chunks.
I don't know, the Predators look cool.
I'm just going to be curious to see what was worse. Alien Covenant or Predators.
Alien vs Predator. Alien vs Predator Requiem versus
when that's better than either the Alien or... Oh my...
Okay, but
I'm scared, Ian.
Films that we've done a 360 on. Films that you've watched that were absolutely shit and then you've watched again and thought, wow,
Pulp
that was
Fiction.
really good. Really?
First time I watched Pulp Fiction, turned it off. It was... All it was F-bombs, 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 F-bombs. And after about 40 minutes into the film, fucking nothing's happened. And I was like, what is this? This is awful. This is awful.
Had you seen any Quentin Tarantino movies
like 13,
up to that point?
14 at the time watching it. Yeah. And I just wasn't prepared for a film to not be, RoboCop, not be...
Terminator, Aliens.
Anything like that. It was such a different way of telling a story with the time jumping, the characters. I'd never seen anything like that when it comes down to dialogue with characters. This is before I'd been introduced to Kevin Smith type films.
Yeah.
I very quickly did a 360 on it, but it took a while. The Big Lebowski, absolutely hated it. First time I watched it, I was like, I've just wasted 15 quid on this DVD. I brought it because I thought I liked the actors and the directors. And that happens a lot with the Coen brothers. A lot of the first time I watch their films, I just go, that was terrible. These guys are so overrated.
Yeah.
And then years later, I'll watch it again and go, oh man, that was really good.
See, the weird thing is, if I don't like a film, I fucking don't like a film, and it will stick with me why I don't like the film.
You won't do a repeat viewing?
No, I'll do a repeat viewing. I do repeat view a lot of really shitty movies, but when I watch them, I know it's shit. Like, I mean... when you have a good film, you have a good film. Like Cocktail with Tom Cruise. It's not a film that you would watch immediately.
What a random fucking pull.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
So when you Cocktail.
Right.
What?
But I give you a copy of Cocktail and a copy of World War Z. Right?
Right.
And unless you really, really fucking love World War Z and ignore all of the complete irrelevant reasons why a film like that should even exist, you should go with Cocktail because it's a good film. It's a good film compared to a shit film, and we have that category.
But if you gave me the choice of those two films to watch, I would pick World War Z.
Yes, because
not knowing anything about it.
You're a fucking idiot. What? Sorry. Anybody who I was gonna say anybody who owns a copy of World War Z is a fucking idiot. And
didn't you buy
it?
it?
I bought it for Christmas. Because
Now, why the fuck would you do that?
because my wife likes it.
Oh, the things we do for our wives.
For the things we do for.
Do you know what I mean? I would say one that I watched that I didn't like the first time round, and then in repeat viewings I was like, actually, it's kind of genius. Was Event Horizon.
I love
Didn't
that.
like it
Nice,
the first
yes.
time. Didn't like it the first time
Really?
I watched it. I don't know, just just didn't do anything for me. And then sort of like, it was one of those where I got to, I think when we all lived together, and sort of like one of Steenie was constantly like, fucking love this movie, and I was like, really? I don't remember it being that good. Rewatched it, I was like, it's kind of fucking amazing actually. So I don't know why, can't tell you, it just didn't connect with me the first time around.
See, I'm trying to think now if we've done a review where I've done a 360.
What? As in reviewed it and then
Hellraiser
afterwards-
Judgment
You changed your mind on it yet, Ian?
Oh, maybe.
on the Greasy Strangler scale.
Greasy Strangler. Yeah, Hellraiser Revelations is worse than Greasy Strangler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go with that. Okay, next question is from Dorian Santiago. Dorian. Hey, Dorian.
Hey, man.
I don't know if that's ever been covered. I am making my way through your entire archives, but I'm far from done yet. We've got an archive.
We do. We got a backlog of stuff.
We got backlog.
Holy
Well, I know we got
A
backlog.
lot of it's being
I was
deleted by
gonna say,
YouTube right now.
YouTube helped him out by knocking about fucking 30 of them off for him.
Right.
But if not, a non-movie related question: how did Gary and Ian meet? We have posted
Covered
this.
this in every episode.
We've
I
covered
think.
this in quite a lot.
As you're working through the archives,
Yeah,
it will
you will
come
get
up.
there. It will come up a couple of times. So yeah, we'll pass on that one for now.
Okay, yeah, we'll pass on that one.
We all moved in together. Spoilers.
Yeah, we're still friends. Spoilers. Next question is from David Binmore. Hey,
Yo.
Dave.
What's up, Dave?
Have you watched Barry yet? If not, why have you not?
Oh, I've not watched it yet. I know what he's talking about, or I know who's in it. And is it Bill Hader?
It's the guy who played Andy Warhol in Men in Black 3.
Well played. Yep.
Wow.
That's totally where I'd have gone with it.
He also,
About to be in It Chapter 2, but no, I'd have gone to Men in Black.
He also played the second agent in Paul.
Paul, yeah.
As they were
Right.
chasing after
Boom,
Paul.
and
Yeah.
the dick is gone.
No, I haven't seen Barry yet, Dave.
I wikied it.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. And from what I understand, he's a professional killer who moves to this town to take out a target, starts to have second thoughts about it because he joins an entertainment troupe, and then everything seems to revolve around that. It seems like it's along the same lines of kind of like a Breaking Bad kind of thing. Secret life, group of friends, people start to find out. Dexter as well. Because he is a hitman who's killed a lot of people.
I like that actor though, man. He's great. I love him at the start of Pineapple Express. Where they're giving him the weed and he's like, "Why are we underground right now?" It's so fucking funny. But I'd give that a watch though. I did when he I've seen it pop up on Showbox and read the description. Just went on to excite him. I will watch it.
Okay, I'm gonna put that on my watch list.
It'll come up on the watch list. Next question is from Tom WJ Sexton.
What's up,
Hey
Tom?
Sexton. Hey guys, great podcast as always. My question is, what is the best film you've ever experienced in IMAX? Also, have you ever had the experience in a D-Box cinema?
The only video film I've ever seen in an IMAX was when I was in America and we watched a NASA video. And, yeah, it was literally like
Class.
astronauts floating around.
That'd be
doing
fucking
their
cool.
thing. So yeah,
Well,
I mean,
anything's fucking cool in IMAX.
yeah.
I've never watched an IMAX
No,
movie.
neither have I.
I've
We
never
do
had the
not
chance to
have
go.
D-Box cinemas, as far as I'm aware of, in the UK. It's an
What's
American.
a D-Box
A
cinema?
D-Box cinema, if I'm aware of, if I think of, it's the chairs that you sit in, and it's it vibrates and rumbles and shakes you from side to
If
side.
it snows in the movie, it'll snow in the fucking.
Oh
Yeah,
no, we've got like what, 2 cinemas down
Smell-o-vision,
here, and
yeah.
one's
Wind
fucking
division.
closed.
Wind Division.
Well, you
Some
can-
dude in front of you with a fan.
there are a couple of theme parks that do like 4D cinema kind of.
Yeah, this is
they're
a lot
like
more like
attractions.
American.
Yeah, they're attractions.
From what I've read recently, because of the change in we're about to get a sort of like IMAX Cineworld, aren't we? And so other cinemas are like cutting prices to get people in more and stuff. And what I read recently is apparently some of these cinemas that are like not IMAX chains are looking at the 3-screen immersive sort of experience now as a way to combat it, because that's cheaper than the D-Box stuff. So that it's achievable for them, but also it's something that they have that IMAX don't.
As an attraction.
I don't think you can fit 3 IMAX screens next to each other in any building.
The thing is, with like our location in Plymouth, it's literally with the new screens being built, it's going to come down to the budget,
Nobody
the money value.
Man, it's right.
And particular
If
films
anyone
that people want to pay the
Yeah,
extra
they
for
have,
IMAX
they have to start
experience.
making all the films in these particularly high-res IMAX scenarios.
Well, a lot of the big ones
so that
do.
the cinemas catch up. But then the problem you have is then when you have it on home distribution. You know, I remember when The Dark Knight came out and it was going to be fucking amazing in
Filmed
IMAX.
in IMAX.
And obviously
There's like 3 or 4 scenes.
Yeah.
That and Inception, I believe, as well.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
And I had no chance to go see these films. And what really kind of bummed me out was missing out on that experience when I get it home.
Yeah, because the small screen, no matter how big your home screen TV is, it's not a projection.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you could get a giant projector and project it all around.
I did that for a while.
Yeah, but then, you know, then that's a lot of work just to watch The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
You know, screw that. I'll just put the DVD on the background and hoover.
You're like, I'll watch it on my fucking phone.
The thing is, it's great because it does make these films like an event when you go to see it in such an experience.
Yeah.
And if we had D-boxes over here, I probably would venture out
Fuck,
into
you
it
would.
for quite a few
You
hours.
would.
Yeah,
Like imagine Mad Max, you know, in the D-box. You'd probably, you know, still be
Someone
vibrating.
spraying chrome in your face.
I mean,
What a lovely day.
I don't know. Have you
Throw
ever seen?
sand at you all the time.
Have you ever seen Kentucky Fried Movie?
Yes.
Where that guy's just like,
No.
the next film is Debbie Does Dallas.
Oh, I'm going to have to wear some goggles.
You are in the splash zone.
Did you bring a Mac? They're signed. Good one.
Oh.
Next question is from David Allen Evans. Hey,
Hey,
David.
David.
Bit of a glum one, so no probs if you guys would rather focus on something positive. But with how politicized pop culture has gotten, how ugly we can all be to one another thanks to anonymity.
Well done.
And how someone like James Gunn can have his name smeared by so-called geeks who want to see him fail because of his views, a few shit jokes and photos which were clearly a bad taste Halloween party full of adults. Do you guys ever wonder why bother?
Like, why bother having Catch a Predator parties? Or?
Yeah, why you know, write tweets about raping children and shit, or why bother making another Disney
I
movie?
suppose he's asking sort of like, I mean, I know with my other podcast, and it's like, you guys, you must get some fucking shit from people.
All the time.
Can't please everyone, can
Not
you?
even on on fucking YouTube.
We've got
like
a
in fucking
random
real life.
commenter right now going on a couple of our videos just saying these two are wrong.
Yeah, I saw
And
them.
then on
Is that
another,
all he
on-
says?
and yeah, and then on
That
another
is
video,
so fantastic.
he just wrote, "These guys are wrong again," and I'm like, "Wrong about what?"
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Elaborate.
Like, personally, it's like,
Yeah.
you're wrong, mate.
Yeah.
You know, just sort of like, what? What's wrong with me?
Okay, I
That
know
is
I am
fantastic.
not as professional as people would like me to be. I can't help it. I'm really lazy, so I just do.
He's an honest, though. He's an honest man.
And the funny thing is when you say like, why bother? Weird thing is, I ask myself that every day.
Why bother? What doing?
You're
anything?
in bed and you're like,
Mate, why bother anything, right? You know, I've always said that life is a contradiction unto itself. It's always the mirror reflection of whatever you're doing. That's how weird it is. We do to get to the end of the day, to go to bed, to wake up the next day, to do it all again, to go to sleep, to wake up again, to do it all again. You know, we breathe in to breathe out. We live to die. We work to relax. We, you know, have fun so that we can be serious. And you got to ask yourself why bother, but why not?
well, you got to find the why bother, haven't you?
You've got it. That's the reason to keep going.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's
If you're
that's
talking
the
about
why
in
not.
this, like he's saying
In
about
this
the
case.
anonymity, like the why bother kind of refers to sort of like people talk shit about you, like you basically you try. I'll fucking channel Kevin Smith with the you try and do something and you'll find why. People are like, why do you want to do it? So you're going to start a fucking YouTube channel. Why would you want to do that? And you have to find the why not. You go out and find the people that are like, yeah, why not do it? You know.
Yeah, but
So
then obviously
the
is
good always outweighs the bad.
That is, yeah, but
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
that is the bad because, you know, some people will use the why not excuse, not the why not excuse, the why not to do things, you know, that you would necessarily say is wrong, you know.
Right.
And so when you say like, you know, James Gunn, we covered this earlier in the podcast. He wrote some bad tweets, and we said that in the last podcast about how he was a bit of a fucking idiot for doing that.
Yeah.
And then he got in pictures where he went to pedophile themed capturing parties with
Yeah.
girls. You know, if Andy turned around to me and said, "Hey, guess what? I'm doing a barbecue next week. Everyone's going to be there. All the family members. Bring Dylan. It's going to be fun. It's going to be Xbox stuff. Oh yeah, it's themed. What is it? To Catch a Predator." I'd be like, "Fuck you!" What
No,
the
but you'd be
fuck?
like, what is he? Is he going to be cloaked in the trees?
You know,
So,
it's
like,
just,
we got to find him.
What do you wear
you
to
know,
one of those?
you know, when you say why bother, you really got to ask the questions of what you're doing as well.
Yeah.
That why you go right? Okay, I'm holding this person's head under the water for this very long time. Do I want him dead?
You know,
my mind works like that.
You made me think actually about when you were saying about the whole thing of like getting up, like why bother and everything. You know, get up every day to work and everything. Watch Office Space.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's a great example of that, and it is literally a dude who is hypnotized into. He's stressed at work and gets hypnotized into basically not worrying about anything and not giving a fuck. And he doesn't give a fuck in the most wonderful kind of way. It's fantastic. In an
extreme way.
It was like what I was saying earlier about content sentience. You know, as long as you are one with yourself, with everything around you, there is no why bother. You just do.
Oh, thank you, Sensei.
Let's go to the next question.
Next question's from Sherwin Newton. Hey, Sherwin. Hey guys, really enjoyed your last podcast, especially since you got around to answering my question. Decent fan-made films. Nice. Much appreciated. This week's question: what is the one rare item you still regret not buying when you had the chance to do so? Ooh. Mine is a DVD copy of the original Night of the Living Dead at a second-hand store 2 years ago. Warmest regards from Central Africa.
Life insurance. That's rare these days. I should have got that.
I don't know.
Problem is when I was into that really heavy collecting phase, I didn't. If I wanted it, I tend to buy it. So it's hard to think of something that I missed out on.
Yeah, well, I'm the same. You know, most of the stuff that I've wanted, I've eventually gotten.
There's been a few things I would say. I mean, probably for all three of us, there's probably a few things that we've looked at, gone, really want that, and then the price has been extortionate, and we've had no practical reason of why we get it unless it was just an impulse buy. I remember when I first met Linda, and we were together for the first couple of weeks, we went into our local market, which is in our local town centre, and it's just, you know, old schooly market where everyone's got those stores, they sell random shit, and it was at the time where you could buy knives. Right. Obviously, knife crime over the UK now is rampant. People are using them as deadly weapons, but you could buy ceremonial knives. And I walked past this store, and on the wall there's this plaque, and it's the Chaos Blades from God of War. Wow. On this plaque that you could take off. They were only little small tiny things, but I was like, man, I really want to buy them. You know, they were like 150 quid, and it was going to be a couple of weeks until I got paid. So went away. Next weekend came back, saw them there. Yeah, we're really interested in buying them. When I got the money to go in town to get them, you know, I had this whole idea of putting this plaque next to my side of the bed and then getting Linda maybe the 2 guns from Tomb Raider on the side of her bed. It was going to look awesome. And the law came out that banned the selling of these weapons. Huh. So when I got there, you know, the store was not there anymore. Yeah. The weapons are all gone. You can't buy them. I'm sure you can buy them again.
There's lots of replica sites that build all the sorts of different weapons, from Final Fantasy to God of War to Gears of War.
Yes.
You know.
So, I mean, you know.
Do you know what I missed out on that I wish I'd bought was the Nexus CM Punk t-shirt.
Ooh, nice.
Can't get that no more.
No.
Should have bought that at the time. And I'd love to have bought an original, like, NWO and Austin 316 t-shirt. I know you can get them now, but I mean one from back in the day.
Yeah.
I'd have loved to be able to get that, and obviously you can't, you know.
I remember something as well.
You had the DX jersey?
No, because I got a DX t-shirt actually when they first came out, and it was one of my first love t-shirts that I lost. But there was, in our local model store as well, back when I was about 12, 13, they had a model APC.
Okay.
That you could put together from the movie Aliens.
Nice.
I just kept looking at it like, I really want the APC. I really want it. And yeah, it's probably really fucking rare now. Anything?
No, I can't think of anything now. I'm kind of spoilt, really.
You have. I mean, you did manage to finally get that Antonio Banderas blow up sex doll.
Oh my god!
It was used, but
well, I had to test
that. That was a fucking deep pull. Oh my word!
Yeah,
I'm totally getting Antonio Banderas blow up sex doll. All right.
Let's bring that one back.
Fucking hell.
Okay, next question is from Jake Adams. Hey Jake.
Hey Jake.
Hi guys, I recently watched a documentary on video nasties. I'm American and have no concept of it. Really? I'm not surprised. Has a chainsaw in his background. But it's very fascinating to me. Do you have any stories or situations where this era of banning or censoring films affected you in a particular way?
Yes, it really, really affected me, because I lost my copies of The Evil Dead and Dawn of the Dead. And I lent them to somebody who then, after months of not returning them, when I finally asked him again and again, he was, oh yeah, we moved house and we kind of left them behind.
Ugh.
And it was like, and I was without Dawn of the Dead and without The Evil Dead. It's pre-internet, you know, and it's like, these films are not on TV. The Evil Dead went down as a video nasty.
Yeah.
Banned.
And it was like, and so yeah, I for the longest time.
This is all Mary Whitehouse's fucking fault, basically.
The funny thing is, my mum used to watch a lot of films back in the day. We weren't supposed to watch them with her, but she wanted us to be quiet. We're going to sit in front of the TV, and the Video Nasty era came about. I remember watching some news reports about videos being taken off the shelves and you couldn't watch certain films. So I didn't know what The Evil Dead was. It looked scary as fuck. You know, I didn't know about Driller Killer. That looked scary as fuck as well. I'm a little kid. I'm not. But then the thing was, because we had a guy who came around in a van who had videos to rent out to people. Because
I had the same.
Because
Really? I never had that.
yeah, man,
amazing.
it was like £1.50 a video.
Hellraiser.
Yeah, man, and
Sweet.
because these films weren't being stocked, he had to stock films from other places. So he started getting like Italian movies in and fucking, you know, really obscure movies that at the time my mum was just looking for something to watch, and it's just like, oh yeah, it's Italian, you'll love it, you know, it's got this funny love story.
Probably Mario.
Man, it was lemon popsicle. You ever seen that?
No.
Oh man, it's like a teenage coming of age movie, right? And these guys end up having sex with this fucking nymphomaniac sailor's wife. Right. You know, my mum's just like, put that film on. It's a kid's film, and you're halfway through, and then she launches across the room like, taking it out. But
wait, did that happen in the movie?
No,
is that what your mum did?
That's what my mum did.
Oh, okay.
The film way.
I was like,
but it was,
that is graphic.
But it was also like, you know, these other films started to come out, and then when the era changed, like I remember she got American Werewolf in London, and she rented The Lost Boys and Killer Clowns. You know, Dawn of the Dead was back. You could buy it now. You know, and my mum was the one who first introduced me to Dawn of the Dead because she'd recorded it off TV late one night, and that was, I remember then like, ooh, so these films aren't video nasties, they're actually, you're able to watch them. You know, I'm totally desensitized to fucking everything.
Yeah.
Oh man, I should tell you one day the story I watched RoboCop. That was a great story. I totally forgot where we are. Yeah, censoring films. So that's all our stories on banning and censoring films. The next question is from David Morris. Hey David.
Yo.
Brilliant podcast as always. Away from film, what was the best gig or concert or theatre experience you've ever had? Fist bump.
Good question.
I loved Muse. Seeing Muse, they were great. Seeing Korn. When they came down to Plymouth, they were great.
Saw him then, same show.
I saw Jonathan Davies in my local shop.
He did. He came into the shop.
He did. He came into the store, and my legs buckled, and I tried my very best not to fucking scream at him that he was like one of my favourite singers at the time. Yeah. And his bouncer was looking at me like, "Calm down."
I was working at Royal Bank of Scotland. I'd left Games Workshop, and I got a phone call from buddies of ours that worked at Games Workshop at the time to tell me that Jonathan Davis had just been into the store. Yeah. And they struck up a conversation. One of them is Brad, who I do my podcast with. Yeah. They struck up a conversation with him. He asked him if they were going to the show. They said no. He gave him fucking backstage tickets.
Yeah. I remember you telling me this, and I wish I'd spoken to him properly.
And then when they got there, because that night they were leaving straight away. Yeah. He sort of came up to him and stuff, and he was like, "Oh, sorry, we hang out, but we're gonna go." And they kind of went, "There's a case over there. Take anything you want out of it." Okay. Opened it, fucking bottles of Jack Daniels, and they just fucking grabbed as much as they could to leave it.
Hell,
damn,
man,
that was good, crazy. I was, Metallica were pretty amazing at.
You've seen quite a few. You've been in Sonosphere.
Yeah. Gone to like a few different gigs. I love watching Ghost live. Been to see Ghost about 3 times. I love that band.
Best one, I think, and I mean we were talking about it earlier, Andy. Best one I've ever been to, because I don't really like large groups of people. If a zombie apocalypse kicks off, you do not want to be at a concert or a gig, especially. So I've always gone with that. But then NXT came down to Plymouth, and I got my ticket to go see that and watch that, and that was absolutely fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was a good show.
And they are coming back in October.
NXT UK.
The NXT UK, and I got my ticket for that. So
we got tickets together, didn't we? I was literally, I bought tickets. 4 of us going. I bought the tickets in work in the morning, and I was sat there, and it was like, I've been there for an hour or something, and the tickets are coming online at 9 a.m. Yeah. My boss is like, "Yeah, Andy, could you do me a favour?" And I was like, "Don't talk to me until I've got these fucking tickets." And he said, "What?" And I explained the whole thing to him, and he's not a wrestling guy, but he's like, "Right, okay, but do you need to?" I was like, nah, go, fucking, I will deal with whatever in 10 minutes. I am not available right now. Yeah. And I sat there, did them, printed them all out, and I purposely managed to get us, there's like where the ring is. We were trying to work out, 'cause we knew
where the hard
where
cam
the
would
camera
be.
is.
Yeah.
And we've got what appears to be row C, because you couldn't get A or B.
You're
Row
right.
C, hard cam, smack in the middle.
Yeah.
So you might see us on the WWE
That's
network.
cool. That's cool.
And if we're on that side, you will fucking see us. 'Cause
Yes.
we're like, "Woo!"
We were one holding a little cardboard sign, probably with my name written on it. For laugh.
Off the
like-
shelf.
Off the shelf reviews t-shirt probably as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Unless I buy a t-shirt there and a new hat.
Yeah,
I am probably going to
probably
buy
will.
like a mustache mountain t-shirt while I'm there.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Sweet.
I might
yeah,
get
that
that
was
one,
that was a
maybe.
really good show. I'd say it was a really good one.
Next question is from Jason Ramos. Hey Jason,
Yo.
Hey, man.
will you guys ever be doing that Comic-Con in America? That Comic-Con, that one. Or visiting America? Yes, if Disney pay us. I'm available. I know
Delete
you've
your
just-
tweets.
I don't tweet, so that's good.
I've visited America a few times, like 3 times.
Yeah, and then Donald Trump became president. That's weird.
Mostly
and that sealed the deal. You're like, I'm not
mostly
going back.
the east side. Haven't done the west side. Really want to do San Francisco. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to travel to America. It looks absolutely beautiful, and there are some places I would love to go, but I know I'm not allowed. I mean, I'd love to go to South Central Los Angeles, see what that's like.
I also don't know.
Well, it's
if
not the
I
90s. It can't be
really
as bad
want
as
to
it
do
was.
Yeah,
Comic-Con.
that's it. Yeah,
So much waiting and so many crowded spaces.
yeah.
Kind of like E3. It's like I'm comfortable watching it, watching the highlights at home.
Yeah, I'd see. Weird thing is, we have like a convention that comes down here, and I'm always working when it's on, so I'm never ever able to go. And I've always said to myself, man, I would love to go, but then I wouldn't actually go. And it's the same reason why I wouldn't go to San Diego Comic-Con. Is I'm a bit of a stiffler for money. And so when it comes to like spending maybe like $500 to fly over there to stay in a hotel for food, a couple of accommodation for 2 or 3 nights, then you go there and there's like enough fucking merchandise to fucking overdose on.
I don't want to shock you. It will be more than $500.
Yes.
Yeah, your
Because
credit.
if it was $500, I'd go tomorrow.
I'm just worried about which hotel we're staying
That's
in.
it.
I was thinking, so
Your
like, I'm worried
credit
about
card-
the plane he's booked.
The credit card is melting in your pocket.
for a drone.
Like you said, you got to line up in lines.
Fine, Amazon's going to drop us off.
You get to meet your favorite stars of all time, but I've never been, but I always imagine, because you see it, is that they go and meet these people, and I always try to remember that they're real people. Sigourney Weaver is an amazing actress in all the movies that she's done, but she's still a real person who at the end of the day is going to go back to her hotel room, flop down on her bed and be like, and I'd kind of rather, let
You
her
wanna meet your
have that
heroes,
than
yeah?
be the guy.
You don't want to meet your heroes? You don't want to be disappointed, maybe?
I would love to, but I would love to meet the heroes in more of a relaxed thing. I've always said, if
Not
off,
in a forced kind of, but that's the only way.
If no, if Off the Shelf ever, kind of exploded overnight or did that magical thing that we all kind of wish or hope it would do, like an actor or actress, one would come and say, "I'd love to be on I would love to be on your show to review my favorite film."
Yeah.
And we talk to them like that,
Yeah.
and then they pass. Oh, I talk to these guys. Yeah, Sigourney. Hey, yeah, they want to talk about your favorite film. No, not that one. No, not that one. They want to. Oh, Gorillas in the Mist. Yeah, that kind of friendly thing. If I go to San Diego, I'll probably lose my wife, my son, my house. I would be destitute, but I would have that new toy gun.
So it's all worth it in the end. I think we're doing for my wife's 40th. I think we're doing New York.
Ooh, nice.
'Cause she wants to do that. So yeah.
Yeah,
That'll be
did New York.
that'll probably be the next time I go. To be honest.
Had to go to all the film sites, the Ghostbuster.
Fuck yeah, dude! That's where I wanted to go.
Yeah,
I'm devastated that I didn't go back in the day when WWE New York was there.
Oh yeah.
I was gutted that the week I was in New York, Marilyn Manson was playing. The weekend I was flying out. I
Oh,
want to extend it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Great place. Next question is from Lewis Chenery. Hey Lewis.
Hey, Lewis.
Love all your reviews and podcasts. Best on YouTube. Thank you.
Oh, we know.
Next movie and game out this year you guys are looking forward to? I'm
Red Dead Redemption.
Red Dead Redemption, I've got the week booked off. I'm not going to do any editing. I'm not going to do any
Definitely.
rendering. I'm not going to leave the building. I'm just going to
play Red
play
Dead
Red Dead
Redemption.
Redemption 2.
I
new
can't wait for
gameplay
the.
trailer was awesome
Sorry.
as well.
Oh yeah. I saw it the other day. Yeah,
Yeah.
it did look
Absolutely
amazing.
beautiful. Just I know if I get that game, I'm not going to be doing any work. I'm going to be
It will be
not
actually a
editing.
reason for me to turn my Xbox on because it has not been on in a while.
Because you play everything through the PC now.
Yeah, yeah. The games I
Doom
want to play
Eternal?
are on there.
Yeah, Doom Eternal, but that's out next year. So
I'm kind of excited for Fallout as well.
Oh, Fallout 76.
Yeah.
yeah.
Take me home.
That's
I just want a Fallout.
Take me home.
I just want a Fallout game I can play with my friends.
Yeah. We say that. We say about getting a multiplayer game, and then life just comes along and just starts kicking us in the nuts. Why did you go ahead 3 levels? That's not fair. You should have waited for me, you know. But,
yeah.
Film-wise, I've got to say Creed 2.
Yes, is it out this year? It is, isn't
I'm sure it's out at the end of this year.
I'm looking forward to the
Happy Time
Bohemian
Murders.
Rhapsody film.
Oh, good pull, yeah.
October
I got tickets booked for that.
I think. Nice, yeah, it's going to do well.
Film-wise, I mean, I've just seen Ant-Man versus Wasp, and that was pretty damn good. I don't think there's anything else that's really gonna.
Happy Time Murders.
I'm excited for Happy Time.
I want to see that, dude.
Yeah.
Puppets jizzing everywhere.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you obviously in the news section? I brought up another. I left it for you to read. Another Muppet kind of TV show with Jim Carrey.
Oh
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you said there were puppets in it, but we got sidetracked by the whole fact that I thought the family were imploding.
When he read The Family Implodes, he thought that to be a physical description.
So, but we came back from that. Don't worry, we recovered.
You need to teach Ian about commas
when
he reads things.
Just get my glasses on now. Next question's from Rich Morton. Hey, Rich.
Yo.
Will you guys do The Last Jedi? I think you and Rob Ager would have some interesting insights. Who's Rob Ager?
I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
Like,
I would like to say I think he's I would guess he's another
YouTuber?
reviewer who maybe covers Star Wars quite a bit.
Have you done?
I've rewatched The Last Jedi again recently, and
it's not good.
My God, it is not just awful. It is like awful.
It's almost rude, isn't it?
It is. It's almost like
you'd rather watch Phantom Menace.
It was almost like it was a joke. Like you brought it. It's not the real Star Wars film. It just felt like an awful joke. The bit that immediately took me out after, Mary Poppins flying through space. It's the fact that when she gets to the door, and Finn and Poe run up to the door and open the door. Into space.
Did they open the door?
Yes, and it cuts immediately so that you don't make the brain connection.
The Force protected them.
Yeah, the Force.
If at any point you're confused, the Force did it.
The fact that nobody even mentions to Leia and goes, "Hey, that was a neat trick you just did there. Did you know you could do that?" Like, not even nothing. Just nothing.
I don't even think she looks like Mary Poppins. I think she looks like the ship that's like a maid at the end of Spaceballs.
Yeah, I don't want to go in. I could literally rage for about an hour.
It's like Laura Dern.
Have you guys reviewed Force Awakens?
No, we haven't reviewed a single Star Wars. We had a Star Wars podcast where we talked about it.
Yeah,
and I remember talking favourably about The Last Jedi. But it had just come out in cinemas, and I suffer sometimes from cinema sickness.
It's
when
like
I just watch a new film.
It's like the Laura Dern moment when she's in the ship and they're trying to escape, and then she half realizes that they're going to fire onto the ships and that she should maneuver her ship into position to take the fire. How about the part at the beginning where Poe just flies up to that fucking giant Imperial dreadnought, and the Imperials are stood there going, "We haven't launched any fighters." I'm like.
You'd think they'd already had them launched. They're in the middle of bombarding the final
I know.
rebel
That's
hideout.
the first 5 minutes. It's the first 5 minutes of the movie. Don't get me started on that.
Exactly.
I like it when they drop the bombs in space with no gravity.
Oh yeah,
that's good.
I mean, that bit is arguable,
but
still.
But at the same time, it's a Star Wars movie, and pew 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 pew.
That's do you know what's funny is because I've watched it twice, and that's one that I did a 360 the other way because I watched it and was like, it's a bit of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, me too.
And I was like, everyone's kicking off. It's a bit of fun. It was a good laugh and everything like that. Even though you're like, they kind of went out their way to undo everything Abrams did in the first one.
Everything.
And then I rewatched it and was like, this is fucking bad.
It doesn't just undo what Abrams did. It undoes the original trilogy.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I wonder how Billy D. Williams.
Rob Ager, if you're listening to this, if you like the film, that's going to be a difficult conversation to have with you. Next question is from Sam Chenery. Hey Sam.
Hey Sam.
Are you looking forward to the Nun movie by Conjuring series? No. I've never seen any of the Conjuring movies. They look.
I've watched The Conjuring.
They looked interesting, but
I burned out watching The Conjuring. I did go through a phase, and I've been told by a lot of people that I should give them another chance. But it was like I just kind of hit a point where horror movies that were coming out, just every one of them was flat. Flat. No scares, cheap jump scares, crappy acting, crappy story.
Knew it. You knew what was coming every time.
The only really, really standout horror movie in the last 10 years that I can really think of that did anything for me was the Babadook.
Babadook's amazing.
I just thought it was really well made, well acted, and kind of unnerving. But The Conjuring, as soon as the red-faced demon-y thing turned up, I was
that's Insidious.
All right, Insidious as well.
Because you had Insidious.
Conjuring
Sinister,
is the one based on the Paranormal Investigators.
Yeah. I mean, it's the man and...
It's the real life man and wife whose name we bring it up all the time.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting their fucking names, but it's about their house.
Yeah,
because they just had. Is it the newest one they've had? The Conjuring, the Key, where she goes.
No, that's Insidious.
That's Insidious.
Clearly, these all fucking blend together. I didn't mind the Insidious.
So
clearly not looking forward to it.
The woman in that in the Insidious
from Detroit Rock City.
Yeah, and she's also the one from.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, she's from Kingpin. Yeah, with the.
What is it about good oral sex that makes you need to take a shit?
Is it Lin Shay? Is it?
Lin Shay. Yeah, Lin Shay. Next question.
That's the dude in Indiana Jones.
What?
Lao Shay?
Next question is from Genove Thomas. Hey, Genove. Yeah. Do you think the same amount of work and thought goes into horror movies as the other genres of movies? What would you say to someone who thinks scary movies are just violence and gore? That they haven't seen enough scary movies to actually put that into practice?
Yeah.
I mean, psychological thrillers out there, obviously, aren't there?
Right,
as well,
yeah.
You know,
well, weirdly enough, I mean, we obviously another bad series, but I know a lot of people like them. The Paranormal Activity movies.
Yeah,
there's not a huge amount. I was about to say there's not a huge amount of violence, but nothing really happens in them at all.
No.
But you take Blair Witch,
but
take,
it spawned a generation of horror movie imitators.
Fucking Cape Fear.
Cape Fear, yeah, great.
You know, there's some violence in it. It doesn't certainly it wouldn't fall in that category of people saying scary movies are about violence and gore. Obviously, you know. At the end, I mean, I'm not even necessarily a big gore fan in horror movies, per se. I mean, I don't mind the gore, obviously, but it certainly doesn't have to have
it is a genre where some things are just thrown together, like The Evil Dead, and then but there is a passion that comes through some filmmakers when they do throw shit together, and it becomes a labour of love.
It depends on
and you do get slapped together movies like the Hellraiser sequels, which are thrown out to cash in on a name and retain a copyright over the franchise.
I think what she says about do you think the same amount of work and thought goes into them? I think it's just because there's so many easy horror movies to write.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say.
You can have a dartboard that you can throw.
It's the cheapest genre to work for an aspiring filmmaker.
There's a thing that lives in a place that's haunting to people. Okay, so what's the thing? Where's the place? And who are the people?
Yeah.
That's it.
And you can make 100,000 movies based on that.
And they have the world has done.
But weirdly enough, it also all comes down to the studio. You know, because if the studio is willing on putting the right amount of work and thought into a big sci-fi epic,
which is rare for them to put a lot of money into a horror movie.
Yeah, they won't really do that for a horror movie unless their bread and butter is horror movies. You know, and they're like, well, like the Saw series.
Yeah.
You know, well, that one did well. We should just up the ante a little bit. We'll just put a little bit extra blood in there. Blood's not too cheap, too expensive, but you're not, we're going to CGI a whole wall of fucking bodies or something. That's a little bit more much. So, yeah, I mean, with horror movies, they're easy to do, but that's because they're a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
Any other series is going to be very expensive. Westerns are massive. Any period dramas, dramatic. Anything that you really have to use your imagination for is going to be expensive and take a lot of work. Anything that's easy, like a horror movie, like Andy said, how's two people go in and something scares them.
It's just going to get that reputation, isn't it, for being easy to do when it is.
Yeah, you get trash. But
you get classics as well.
But saying that again, what you'd say to someone who thinks it is, I think all you can do really is just point them in the direction of these smarter movies.
Yeah.
And go, well, don't watch the fucking straight to DVD sequel to fucking Hatchet.
Right.
Yeah, maybe the person as well. Maybe the person doesn't like violence and gore. They'd rather have a movie that gives them a message instead of just decapitations.
Yeah, man.
Like The Greasy Strangler.
What's the message in The Greasy Strangler?
Man, don't go out with a girl with red hair because your dad will want to fuck her too, and he covers himself in grease.
That old fucking chestnut. It's a classic tale.
Love story.
Never my trouble.
Broderick McLaurin Jr. Hey, Broderick.
Yo.
McLaurin. What do you all think about the Bruce Campbell playing Ash in a new Evil Dead game. It's been confirmed.
Yeah.
No one knows what type of game it will be.
We'll buy
has
it.
it been confirmed? I've not seen it in the news things yet, so that's news to me.
Yeah.
And that is fucking awesome, considering the Ash vs. Evil Dead was cancelled. This game needs to be the 4th season. It needs to do what the games did before we had Ash vs. Evil Dead. Attempt continuations after Army of Darkness.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Now we've had 3 seasons, continue after that.
I will pretty much buy anything Ash.
You know what they should do with this game?
Telltale game.
Is have Evil Dead 1, then Evil Dead 2, then Army of Darkness, and then the adventures after. To have all the games in there as levels, break it down.
Yes.
Let's relive the whole Ash
That would
story.
be amazing. I mean, I bought Army of Darkness on my Apple Pad
Yeah, I remember.
just for shits and giggles, and that was all just quotes from the film. Live on the quotes for
Oh, what,
days.
the soundboard
Yeah.
thing? Yeah, man.
Well, no, it was an actual game.
What was the
It was a castle defense.
Yeah.
You had to stop the evil
sorry.
Ash from coming in.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you would
yeah,
come
yeah.
up with lines and characters from. Yeah, great. Yeah, great. Anything Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, I'm glad he's
What
still
about-
voicing Ash in these, because he's retired
Yeah,
from
he
ever
said
playing
about
it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he never said no to voice acting, so it's an easy paycheck for him.
Too right.
Contractually, yeah.
And it
He
keeps.
doesn't have to wear the chainsaw,
Yeah, he doesn't have to get covered in gore all the time.
So long as they bring in Raimi, what's it called?
Ted.
Not Sam. Ted.
Ted.
Ted
Ted
Raimi
Raimi.
to voice the sidekick minion again, or at least lend his voice to other characters.
Yeah, always have Ted Raimi on board too. Next question is from George Lee. Hey George.
George.
2 questions for you. 1, what do you think of the studios releasing unrated cuts of horror movies in general? And 2, what do you think of the franchises at Fox after the merger with Disney? What do you see
I'm
surviving?
holding my breath with the Disney-Fox merger, because as we know, Disney now owns the Alien and the Predator and lots of other
Die
Hard.
franchises. Die
Man.
Hard.
Avatar.
Yeah.
They are.
Where does Avatar find itself in a post-Marvel universe world? Really?
Yeah.
You know.
They're still making 3 movies.
Kingsman.
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes.
Mm-hmm.
They can literally remake anything. Fox can.
Well, Disney now.
Well, Disney, yeah.
Fantastic Four.
But yeah, at the same time, it's Disney. I would enjoy the day that I see the Disney logo appear in front of a violent movie.
Well,
It exists in potential, but it would just be done by another studio. I mean, you're not gonna get the fucking castle with the little thing like in Tinkerbell. Ting!
and then Alien.
Die,
5
motherfucker!
Well, they could do it if to make the money.
They'll just use their other studios.
Yeah,
It'll
yeah.
just be,
I'm just
Disney
happy
will just
that,
be the
you know,
bosses. In the end.
We might finally get Hugh Jackman properly in a Deadpool movie.
Yes.
Not just in
Or
an
in an Avengers
credit, you know.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unrated cuts of horror movies. Oh man, unrated DVD cuts are just
they're
a little
fine.
bit extra blood, a little bit
it's-
extra talking.
I've been pissed since Alien vs Predator was like 12 in cinemas. I was pissed since then, and then because since then the DVDs come out going, oh, it's the gorier extended cut, it's the gorier violent director's cut that we couldn't show in cinemas.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you could show it in the cinema. You just decided you wanted more
You
money
wanted your rating, yeah.
and wanted the easy rating to get more people in.
Yeah.
And so it pisses me off. Like the Meg. I was talking to people at work, and they're like, "Oh yeah, originally it was an R-rated, an 18 rated,
Yeah.
but they cut it down to a 12 and took all the blood and guts out, so that it would be, kids can watch it."
Yeah, go to summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it upsets me.
It
Still
upsets,
does.
but then you end up still buying a DVD.
Before the
I think it depends on the movie type, doesn't it? At the end of the day, if you'd never watched the Meg in the cinema and then you get the unrated version, which is like a 15, that's really good. You'd be like, "This is fucking awesome." Probably.
Yeah. Next question is from Rene Rodriguez. Hey Rene. Holy Muchachos, what's your favourite movie?
Sorry, that's hola, not holy. As in hello.
Oh, hola muchachos. Sorry. Yeah.
muchachos.
My Spanish isn't that great. What's your favourite movie that you liked enough to read the book that was based on, and you ended up liking the movie better than the book? Mine is The Shining. I don't care what Stephen King says, the movie The Shining is better than the novel. Keep up the great work on videos. Groovy.
For me, the first Stephen King book I ever read was Christine, and loved the film already. So yeah, that was what forced me to go and pick up a Stephen King book finally, and then continue to read Stephen King since.
Yeah.
So that would be my first time.
For me, well, weirdly enough, movies always take precedence. I never have read the... Well, only recently over the last couple of years, if a movie's been turned from a book into a film, I Wikipedia the book.
Right.
Because I know that the film has been shortened.
Yeah.
And certain characters have been taken out. Most of the time, I do only get novelizations as well. Which, like, I got the Thing novelization, which is basically all the action scenes that you wished were in the Thing.
Yeah.
But they're not. And I prefer the film, obviously.
Still,
a hell of a lot more. Jaws. I've got the Jaws 2 novelization. That's got a whole expanded story with the kids, the baby sharks. I'm glad it's not in the film because Jaws 2 just it's just streamlined. You know, the books they have to describe the characters to you that they're meeting.
Yeah.
Where in the film the character walks in and you're like, oh yeah, he's got brown hair and green eyes.
Yeah.
Because that's the actor portraying them.
And I read. Do you know what? I didn't read Harry Potter until I'd watched the films.
You don't read though.
Well, I can read though. All right, holy muchachos, calm down. I watched those. I tell you what, not a movie, but playing the Gears of War games and then reading the books.
Yeah, a lot of people got because you got much extended.
It filled in so many gaps. It added story to it. You know, you got to see like where Marcus Phoenix is known for being like, you know, in the slab. You know, the prison and stuff.
Yeah.
You get Coalition's End deals with that entire time period and stuff, and actually leads up directly to him meeting
Dom.
Hoffman. You know, like at the end of the
yeah.
first act. And what's really cool is it describes everything to that point, including that cutscene. And like in the cutscene where they come up and look at each other, they describe that there's this exchange from Hoffman to Phoenix where he's literally like, I fucking still don't forgive you for what you did, which in his mind was abandoning his post and people died. So it's like, next time, I think then I replayed it on the HD remake on the Xbox One.
Yeah.
And when it comes to that bit, I was like, oh fuck, this is where he's like, fuck you, like under his breath. Like, it's really awesome. So that added to it, definitely.
Cool.
But big books that we didn't actually touch upon, Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
Yeah, but I'd read that before I watched the movies.
Yeah. I mean, the films, a lot of people would prefer over the books. I do prefer the books because I love the detail that's obviously Tolkien's given to you. But then, like I said, with the whole film thing, Peter Jackson just portrays it on film very easily.
Yeah.
I say easily. But when it comes to the book as well,
I find it went the other way though. Sort of like it's kind of like the films made you go back, read the books maybe, and you enjoy the books more.
Yeah. Well, I reread them to Dylan when he was really, really young. But when we got to Mount Doom and they dropped the ring in and the mountain exploded, you know, he kind of wasn't really interested. It was just reading to him at night times, and I was just like, right, that's it, that's done. He dropped the ring off. Get another book tomorrow, you know, because I'm not going to sit through the next fucking 7 years it takes him to get all the way back to the Shire for Frodo to turn around and go, I'm going to fuck off to the Elven lands, you know, bye. You know, because it was long in the film.
Good call.
It was long in the film, so right.
You read books like Grandpa Simpson, sort of like Jack and Jill went up there, and Jill came tumbling after.
Yeah, right. You know, I don't need to know what colour her hair was that day. Next question is from Simon Furno. Hey Simon,
Yo.
Love what you guys do. The effort that goes into the reviews, the differences of opinion, and the critical breakdown is awesome. Always look forward to Thursday. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Fully understand the reason of the loss of Gaming Friday, but I am going to miss it. Hope it makes a return one day.
It will, in some form.
Yeah. As for a question, with the trend of remakes these days, and I'm not remake hater, some good, some bad, what are your thoughts on Suspiria? I have to say I'm intrigued but scared at the same time. I felt Halloween, Rob Zombie's first one, not the sequel, thank you very much, gave us a new dimension to the character, the childhood that we were never shown, but Martyrs was an insult to the original. Based on what I've seen, where do you think Suspiria will sit? I will say
this is an American adaptation of this
Italian
film.
Yeah, by Dario Argento.
Yeah.
I'm going to say
Suspiria is a classic.
I've not seen Suspiria.
Yeah, I saw Suspiria when I was like 17, 18. That was when I was looking out for the next horror hit and fix, and that was when I started discovering Japanese horror and Italian horror and French horror. And Suspiria was probably the best one of all the Italian films I ever watched.
See, I've heard it's got a lot of good ratings.
This one as well.
No, that's Disturbia.
Well, alright, fucking excuse me. I ain't seen that either.
Fucking Suspiria.
Well, they could have changed the name for the American audience.
I'm surprised you haven't started quoting Rihanna. You know, Suspiria.
No,
sorry.
I don't. Sorry, that was all you.
I'm not a big Dario Argento fan.
What?
Yeah, I find some of those Italian horrors I mean, at the time that they came out, I find them really kind of droll and boring compared to some of the American counterparts that you can watch. You know I'm going to get slated.
Bold statement.
Yeah, I live and die by the sword. That's what I've already said. But you give me as many Dario Argento movies to watch, and I will watch them, but then I will tell you what I think about them, because, I wasn't raised in that time to really enjoy those things. If it was the only thing I was watching at the time, like you said you watched it when you were 17, 18, I think you got a bunch of Italian horror movies. Demons was one of them. Demons. Oh man, I need a bucket sometimes to watch Demons.
I want to say Demons is coming up.
Oh
on Patreon.
Man, I'm feeling woozy already.
It's been moving up the list for a while now.
No,
because
it gets crazy. Because
I've not even seen that.
Their effects back in the 80s, if I remember, they're as good as they can get for what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So they are attempting to do horrific things with objects,
right?
But. Is it real? Is it not? I can't tell because the camera's so close and the woman's screaming and the pink blood's flying everywhere. There's the witch one with the glass. It's a nightmare. Nightmare, Dario Argento. If there's a remake coming out, it's probably going to be shit.
Yeah, probably.
Probably going to be shit. Not as good as the classic. Not as good as the original.
This is why I'm scared, obviously, about it.
Yeah, but if people nowadays haven't seen it, the story might be condensed enough for cinema goers to be able to go and watch it and go, what was that?
It will take out what I imagine they will do is gut the original Suspiria of its atmosphere and fill it with its nonsensical jump scares and cheap effects.
Yes,
and it will miss the point. I expect.
But
I would like to be surprised.
Wait for the unrated DVD.
Right.
Next question is from Elias Claude. Hey Elias.
Walk with Elias.
What are your thoughts about recent Blu-ray companies like Shout, Scream for horror films, Factory, Arrow Video, Synapse Film, giving B movies that are hard get or find Blu-ray treatments? For example, Mac and Me is being released.
Sweet.
Fucking hell. As a collector's edition on Blu-ray by Shout Factory. Much love from Sacramento.
Yeah, absolutely love all of those companies except when they flag our videos. So some of those that you've mentioned are some of the ones that have taken shots off the shelf this last couple of weeks. Despite the fact that we still love these companies, I do, because they do make Blu-rays of films that you wouldn't...
Yes.
That never went to DVD. They barely survived VHS.
We're going to give them a big shout out. We're going to kind of advertise them with all the films that they've done. I mean, they Blu-rayed Maniac Cop.
Yeah, Maniac Cop.
Nice.
They've done Driller Killer. They're looking to do Mac and Me.
Chud.
Rawhead
Rex.
Oh, okay. Like I said, there are people out there. Going back to Dario Argento movies from the 80s, they need Blu-ray releases. All films, I've always said, need to be
you got to preserve them.
preserved.
They gotta be preserved.
There's always a film from somebody's childhood, that they remember that you cannot find nowadays.
Yeah.
But somebody's still got the VHS copy, and if we could transfer that onto disc, we should do that. It does degrade the film, but
it needs proper, studio attention to full restoration.
Can you imagine, Gary, if people didn't preserve these films, your children might not be able to watch Billy Madison.
Right. That's not a bad thing.
How horrific is that?
That's a burn. I'm just turning my back on that one.
Couldn't watch The Wedding Singer.
You'd have to go to a museum.
The Adam Sandler Museum for people who can't read or write good.
And every interaction is Cartman, and he's like, so Adam Sandler and this girl totally fall in love, but he's a bit weird.
As soon as you walk in, it's like, welcome! Today, Adam Sandler is a dir. You must find him in the exhibition.
People pay to go there.
Oh man, how do we get there? Okay, next question is from Michael Picasso.
Hey, Michael.
Who would you cast if you guys made your own horror movie with unlimited budget, and what would it be about? Ooh, nice one, Michael.
Wow.
I'd cast us in it.
Yeah, that's an awesome idea.
Because there's an unlimited budget, so we can pay ourselves whatever the fuck we want.
Man,
Genius.
I watched The Greasy Strangler. We can fucking do
We're not making the
whatever
sequel,
the fuck.
Ian.
No, we can do whatever the fuck we want. If you can, I mean, they made a Rubber, a film about a tire. We could just follow a tire around.
I would do the zombie apocalypse.
We've always wanted a zombie apocalypse,
but with us in it. I mean, I've written my own scripts of us, a low-budget zombie survival.
I'd like the idea of doing a kind of, because I've worked so much in offices and stuff, doing like an office space style comedy maybe, but he's talking about horror movie, that's easy to do. You had that Belko experiment thing, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Imagine just a day of, the three of us are in an office, right? And it's just, we've just got to get through the day to 5 o'clock. And then throughout the film, we each interact with somebody, right, who is either giving us shit or needing a report or maybe flirting with us, and we all just imagine like American Psycho style to just take them off to an office somewhere, and the room just becomes like a fucking like a hostel type room or whatever we want. We just fucking torture and murder that.
This is the R-rated DVD release.
Yeah, it's the R-rated DVD release. Yeah, but then obviously it cuts back and we just like, oh yeah, I'll get those reports to you, Sally. Okay, yeah, see you later. And then it just cuts to the next, Gary. Gary's like, I need a coffee. And he goes and fucking maybe decapitates like 10 people as he runs down the corridor.
And we got unlimited budget, so the bosses can be like, Tom Cruise.
Oh, yeah.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah. And then at the end, right, as they walk out, the three of us are sat with actually security guards at the desk, and we take out the video that we've recorded of them and put it away. Twist ending.
Alright, Shyamalan.
But that's how the film ends, is you sat behind the desk going, twist ending.
Yes.
Big question mark.
Definitely. Disney are going to pick that the fuck up. Or they're all
it sounds like a Disney
film. We're Netflix greenlit next month. Well, I think that's all the questions, guys. I have gone down to the bottom of Gary's notes that I have got here. And, wow. I mean, we have proceeded over time. So, with that, I want to thank everybody for joining us for this podcast. We will be back next time for another theme, which is getting close to Christmas now.
Oh, God.
It's fucking not.
Well, wait.
I'm just
before we get there,
my birthday.
It's getting close to Halloween.
Yeah.
And my birthday. Don't forget my birthday's coming up.
It's my birthday first. Calm the fuck down.
Yeah, your birthday's coming up. But,
before your birthday.
So I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank you for all joining us. If you want to, I always forget the spiel. You can find us.
It's fun to watch you sweat.
You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook, and you can find us on Patreon. You can find us on YouTube. I want to thank Andy for joining us for this podcast. I want to thank Gary for finishing his shift and getting me through the last. And I am Iain. I'm your host. I will be back again next month for the next podcast and probably at the helm. So peace out.
Take it easy, everyone. See you next time.
Love your face.